Shaking there, fellers. Yeah, you guys see this stuff at the White House? It's like, bro, idiocracy is like a straight up prophecy, man. Like, we may as well have Terry Crews in a jester sequined glittery Uncle Sam outfit with the sleeveless and it's like, bro, it's like a perfect analogy. And honestly, there were people that saw this coming and that said, if we vote Trump in, it's the beginning of idiocracy, basically. And I poo-pooed those people, dismissed those people, and it's now it doesn't look so good. They're doing this shit at the White House. It's outrageous. Dude, they had Travis Pastrana at the White House today doing Supercross. Supercross. Look at this, bro. This is how we're celebrating our 250th anniversary. It sucks, man. And it just makes everything all the more farcical. It's like a total farce now. This has become the America that we celebrate. All of the worst aspects of America, not democracy, not freedom of speech, not unity, what it's like consumerism, it's bread and circuses. And some people, it's a lot of people are aware of this is like a sloppyism. Yeah, well, it didn't used to be a documentary. Really, documentary more. I feel like it's more like a prophecy. I'm not so sure that it was. It wasn't this way when I was younger. It's almost like Idiocracy gave us the idea, and then we turned it into reality. It's insane, absolutely insane. And then all the shit that's going on over in Britain right now, it's scary, man. Not they have now they have Antifa is out there uh, this weekend. Now it's Antifa, and they're like violent, attacking cops. It's crazy. Let's see here. Yeah, everybody had the day off today, so
being brought down this road that they cannot go this way because the lefties are on mass in force at the other end of the street. So we've just been brought down this road and now we've been told you can't go to the end because the lefties are on. So what's happening now? What have you been told?
This is crazy.
What have you been told?
We were told we were going that way.
And now you can't.
I woke up not that long ago, few hours ago. Was it? A few hours ago, and my feed was just slapped top to bottom with protests, violence, and shit. Wow, look at that golf ball. What the hell? Damn. Wow. Hmm. Makes sense. Women have killed 3 billion babies since 1980. Men have killed 1 billion people in all of history. Yeah. And what's funny is nobody needed to see that statistic to know that's the case. Jeez, look at that fucking monstrous hole in the wall behind me. Oh, jeez. Ridiculous. It's huge. But nobody has to be told these things. Nobody has to be shown statistics like this. We instinctively already know this. As if we don't. Everybody already knows that women have been butchering. That's why people speak out against it. since the 70s. That's why they had to create all sorts of euphemisms like the word abortion. Otherwise, people wouldn't tolerate this. If they just called a spade, but they can't do that. They have to create. I mean, it's funny. A lot of people they think they jump to a lot of conclusions. I know with slavery, a lot of people think that Europeans that slavery came from the attitude of Europeans towards coloreds, but that's actually not the case at all. Slavery came before the bad attitudes. Those bad attitudes, they're subhuman. That stuff came about so that they could bring about the institution of slavery. People wouldn't engage in slavery if they thought everybody was human. We're all the same. So they had to create propaganda that made average Europeans feel like, colors are subhuman so that they would tolerate slavery. Well, it's the same thing with the abortion. They had a goal in mind. How do we get women to stop having babies? You better believe that there was a meeting about this. This was a discussion that has taken place that's caused all this. How do we get women to stop having babies? Well, then they go to the drawing board and figure out what stimuli do women tend to respond to. I mean, they do it academically or scientifically. But this stuff we all know. I mean, we have a feeling, and people tend not to feel like their feelings are valid or that their opinion is valid. So even though they have a bad feeling, evil things are afoot, people keep their mouths shut. It's only until somebody shows a statistic like this that people are like, yeah, no shit, I thought that was the case. Everybody sees it. I mean, we're not replacing ourselves anymore. Like almost nobody on earth is replacing themselves. And I think human the human species right now, I don't think that we actually have above replacement rate uh, births. I think there's a few small populations in Africa and India, and even there's the Mormon population here that are still, having a lot of kids. But overall, all human beings considered, we're not replacing ourselves. We're going to go extinct at this rate. And it's totally artificial. This is an artificial set of circumstances that kind of that are holding us in this uh this spiral. And we're shrinking. And obviously they want it to happen. Somebody wants this to happen. These things are being they're being continued, and all of this propaganda, it serves a purpose. It serves a purpose. And I think a lot of this, America is dying. People are leaving and America is dying. I keep seeing it all over social media. I think that's an antinatalist perspective too. That's people trying to scare. That's a propaganda push that's trying to scare people into having less kids. Like we already aren't. Nobody's having kids, and then they just keep piling on the propaganda. And then when one lie is uncovered, one lie is exposed, then there's another one that comes up in the propaganda to take its place. It's just like this perpetual depression, perpetual misery and despair. We're being fed this despair. They have a lot more control over our thoughts and over our behavior than we would like to believe. I used to think that my thoughts were my own. But the more I see, the more that I see events and how things happen, and the less I feel that way now. It's like, geez, honestly, I don't think we don't have any thoughts that they don't implant there. That's how it feels to me anyway. And the fact that we have social media, you actually can get a feel for what's going on. You get a feel for the message that's being pushed, the message that they want us to imbibe. And you might get it with all kinds of spin, all sorts of twists and turns, and that's from every perspective. You get, from the far right, the left, the center, and there's thousands of content creators and influencers, and they all have a different twist, but the core of all of their opinions, everything that they're talking about is the same. All of it is the same at the core. We're declining. Life is hard. I mean, it's just, and it doesn't really matter what the spin is. Like all of this, people are jumping ship in America. I've seen 50 different perspectives on this, but it's all pushing the same thing. See if we can get a feel for this. Because I swear, sometimes when I look at my feed, it just stands out. Like it seems so obvious to me. Uncle Rico, how much you want to bet I can throw a football over the mountains over there? Uncle Rico, shit was hilarious. Yeah, I feel like I don't have any other current. I'm just starting to use this feed stuff now. Like, I guess I'm just kind of a lousy YouTuber because I never use these things at the top. I never use them until just the last week or so. I started looking. I didn't even realize that you could go to, live stuff. I was looking at the yeah, here's stupid ass way in. But FIFA, that's taking place in America. Correct? FIFA is taking place in America, right? I don't not a soccer person. But that is pretty badass that everybody's tuning into all these soccer matches and they're all in the US. I mean, from what I understand. I think the Knicks and the Spurs are playing tonight, I think. Yeah. Exactly, yes. Oh, Pop Ross. What the shit?
Canvas with a very thin coat of.
I had a teacher in 8th grade that would put on Bob Ross for the whole class. I think it was every Thursday. Mr. Abazia. That's what his name was, Mr. Abazia. And he would put on, that's what he would put on every week. Bob Ross, that was his thing. It was so that we would shut up. So he could do paperwork, I guess. Yeah, another person stabbed, another person down.
Just come out and say, yeah, we're actually trying to replace you. We're straight up just trying to replace you. Yeah, it's quite clear by now that your well-being is of no importance to us whatsoever. We don't care about that. Yeah, we know the stabbings are getting worse. Yeah, we know the attacks are getting worse. There's more.
Yes.
Right. No. Good morning, everybody. Right.
Wow, look at this. As Muslims, is it time to be concerned about the rise of Rupert Lowe and his party Restore Britain? I thought they were a small social media party. Yeah, you thought wrong, but I was wrong. They want to ban many things related to Islam, such as halal, burqa, new mosques, and more. I mean, it should be worrying to you, homeboy. You're in the wrong country. You are not where you belong. And people are starting to voice that opinion. they're starting to come to that conclusion. Like, yeah, bro, Islam does not belong here. And we're going to make it very uncomfortable for you. Where freedom of religion and all, but that doesn't mean, yeah, go ahead and practice your religion, but that doesn't mean that we have to make it welcoming to Islam. That doesn't, I mean, tolerance is not the same thing as endorsement. And like that, we've been, the definition of tolerance was subversive. It was twisted and used as a weapon against us. Tolerance is begrudgingly, it's like begrudgingly allowing something that you disagree with to take place. And that's not what we got. Like the tolerance for pride and stuff. It wasn't tolerance. It was outright celebration. And we don't want that shit. Yeah, I like Bob Ross too. I mean, he's like just a jolly painter. That guy's not causing any trouble. At least I hope not. I mean, maybe, who knows? But these, as Muslims, is it time to be concerned about the rise of Rupert Lowe? The rise of Rupert Lowe. You mean the rise of the native population? You mean they finally had enough of your carpet bagging ass? They finally had enough of being victimized by you and your troublesome population? Yet maybe you should be concerned. Maybe it's time you pulled stakes and get the hell out of here. You're brought here by the government and they have defended you and allowed these people to victimize their own people and the native population. And the people were waiting for when the government would accept that it wasn't acceptable and that they made a mistake. Except they're not coming to that conclusion. Well, and it's to the point now where people understand they will never come to that conclusion. They will never, unless we change the people in government out. They won't come to that conclusion, and the people are taking it into their own hands. Yeah, Mr. Muslim in the UK, we want you to leave, to go. I mean, in the UK specifically, those people have had enough. And the government it does not look to me like the government even has the wherewithal to stop it. They don't have the wherewithal to stop civil unrest. Look, I mean, I've been messing around on X, so it's kind of, I hate that about X is, if you like or bookmark one thing, what the hell? If you like or bookmark one thing, it totally throws your X feed off. What the hell, bro? Whoa. Dude. What the Bro, I didn't know. Oh my God, bro. That's insane, dude. Look at all that tuna. Look how big those fish are. I heard that, yeah, tuna, they just keep growing and growing and growing. They never stop growing, but you don't really understand the size of these animals until this. Like, holy Lord, dude. Those tuna, the things would kill your ass if you were standing up against that. Yeah, maybe it is AI. You're right. Yeah. Kind of sucks about today. You don't know what is real. I think tuna really do get that big, though. I believe they do get big like that. The hell, man! I seen these earlier. These types of things. It was showing Roman ingenuity, and it was badass. How they would lift blocks and shit. Yeah, this is what I was talking about, though. This is what made me make the thumbnail. It's like, what the hell, dude? What in the hell? When did this happen? Is this even real? What the hell is going on here? It's like a stage with huh, the Hummers and shit in the background. Bro, how is this? This is absolute decline. Anybody that sees this and thinks, "Oh man, we're on the climb here." Like, bro, yeah, you're mistaken, man. You're mistaken. This is even just like in my lifetime, we were a serious nation. Look at this. It's up to you to break. They're our greatest ally. They share our Judeo-Christian values. And then as this barrier, don't trust them. They hate you. It's real. Yeah, this is what I was talking about before. This is legit. Real ingenuity. This is Western know-how, is what this is. They want to accomplish these great tasks, these great projects. It takes ingenuity. It takes a clever mind. You know, a lot of things are simple if a lot of solutions are simple. People want to make things more complex than they have to be. Yeah, President Camacho. Absolutely. Absolutely, bro. That thumbnail came out perfect, bro. I said, yo, I used the picture that I pulled off the internet. I was like, typed in the title, dress me up as a clown dressed as Uncle Sam. Bam. It was like perfect. Uncle Sam clown. Look at this. Look, I love these memes. Bro, it uses this hella exaggerated AI. Like, bro, exaggerating the most ridiculous features. Bro, those nostrils. Oh my God, dude. Like, this shit is fucking hilarious, man. Absolutely hilarious. Wow, you're German. That's cool. I took a DNA test. A little over half of my DNA was from Germany. No, you're just an American. Nobody cares about your 51% German DNA. It's irrelevant. Rape. Guten Tag, fellow Deutschlander. Like, it's so, I guess that's the beauty of memes, is that they hit home. They hit home hard. Me at 16. Liberals are the real racists. Me at 25, I want Hitler. Like, bro, this shit is so funny. Damn it, I didn't bookmark any of the Irish stuff going on today. The Irish and the British, all of the bullshit, the protests. Like I said, they have Antifa out there today. Yeah, you know, and these people they're doing this, and they're being I mean, you know, the government and the overarching, you know, capital, international capital, which just mean corporations, corporate, uh, yeah, corporations, corporatists. They're threatening, you know, they're saying, if you do this, we're going to throw your asses in jail. And that has been the line that's been the through line that they made sure we understand for the last few years. Because they actually, there's nothing, they can't stop it. So they've been intimidating us for years now, making sure that we feel like if we do that, they're going to throw our asses in jail. And everybody is watching Europe right now, just waiting. Okay, what's going, which way is this going to turn? Yeah, I agree with you there. Or I hear what you're saying, Robin. I agree with you, and I feel like Judaism is the same thing, or it is certainly not a religion. And they're all atheists, professed atheists that say they're Jewish. And I don't really necessarily think that all of this protest is happening because of Islam, though. That's the thing, is I'm not so sure that it is Islam. It's the government. Islam is just the cudgel that they're beating us over the head with. It's not the problem. It's just the mace or the chain that the bicycle chain that they're beating the shit out of us with right now. And they're doing that so that you think Islam is the problem, because that is what they're beating you with. So I agree to a certain extent, but we have to keep in mind who has sicked this ideology on us. Who has pumped these or these evil terrorists and these fighting age males. Notice how nobody talks about fighting age males anymore. But they have propagandized these fighting age males. Hey, Europe and America, they're yours for the taking. Ignore the rules, take what you want. And then that way, when it starts happening, it's those people that we point at. And I'm by no means a leftist, and I understand that there is a leftist narrative where anything that happens, they say, yeah, but look at those rich guys over there. Yeah, but what about those rich guys? I understand that is a narrative. But it is also the truth. You have to keep that in mind at the same time. Like, yeah, Islam is what we're facing for the most part. I mean, that's the form that it's taking currently, is Islam. But does anybody believe, if Islam didn't exist, do you guys honestly think that this wouldn't be happening? Does anybody think that this wouldn't be happening if Islam didn't? It would be happening. The exact same stuff would be taking place. They would just find some other excuse for it. They would find some other way to bring this about. So we have to be aware of these things. And I'm with everybody. I'm with you guys on this, but let's put the right, we need to point out the right people. And when it comes to reality and who are committing the crimes, or why we are scared, what is the stimulus in reality that's causing people to have anxiety and fear and get their heart rate up, is these insane migrants. And yes, they are Muslims, but the people who've done this to us are the people saying, don't look back in anger. And the way that propaganda works, you remember when George Soros was like literally the boogeyman? George Soros, he was like the Western boogeyman. Why don't we hear about George or Alex Soros anymore? Why isn't that in the news? The reason why I bring this up is I'm trying to show you guys how they manipulate you. How they manipulate you, how they use your outrage against you. if there are no boogeymen on the street, stabbing people, trying to decapitate people, then they throw George Soros, that red meat, out there. You must be outraged at all times, and you must be outraged at straw men. That's that's it, man. You must be outraged, except your outrage must be directed at anybody but the government, anybody but the people who did this to us. And they throw these things out. It's like a chew toy that they throw out, a rawhide chew toy that they throw out, to placate you. And do you see what I mean, though? How it's George Soros is the boogeyman at 1 minute. Then it's Elon Musk is the boogeyman. Then it's radical Islam on the streets of UK. And it's just, bro, we're like a dog chasing postal carriers. But it's like, because of AI, they have created a never-ending loop of postmen that just keep running out in front of us over and over. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, WS Goated. He's still doing the same thing, but we don't hear about it. Like I said, and the fighting age young men. Remember when that was a narrative? That was like propaganda. That was in the news. You kept hearing about fighting age men. And it's gone now. It really is kabuki theater. We can't get distracted. And what's going on in Britain right now, these riots, these protests, is, yes, it is against these foreigners, it is against these savage animals, and a lot of them are Muslims, and to some degree maybe it is their religion that's coloring what they're doing. I'm not sure. I don't have evidence of that. But what people are rioting against is the immediate problems directly in front of them. We can't confront Alex Soros and George Soros. We can't get at those sons of bitches. We can't get them. They're far off. They're in their bunkers or their evil lairs. But we're being invaded, we're being attacked, persecuted, victimized daily in our neighborhoods, in our own cities, our native neighborhoods. We're being attacked there. People are rioting. I mean, this is our, it's like we have a lot of enemies, but which ones are pressing at this moment? Which ones are threatening our safety and our health? Okay, it's this knife crime on the street. That's what people are rioting about, to push back. But this is like a hydra we're fighting. It's all the same animal. It's all the same villain. And they have 6 different, I mean, bro, is it the hydra? That's a mythological creature. I believe a mythological creature that was invented by the Greeks to describe this very situation and the exact enemy that we're fighting right now. The Hydra it's like an analogy or it's a graphic or an idea that's supposed to, it encapsulates the idea of the monster that we are fighting currently at the moment. The globalists, the international capitalists, the corporatists. They control, they have so many different sock puppets that it's like whack-a-mole with sock puppets. We're duking it out with this same animal, this same creature. The same thing with Cerberus, which is the 3-headed dog. But knife crime on the streets of the UK, mass immigration, AI, data centers. All of these things are the same entity. They're the same entity. And I think the Hydra isn't real, but some philosopher in Greece, came up with this idea to describe what we are up against currently at the moment. This is like out of Disney's Hercules. We are in a we're in a street fight right now with a behemoth of an entity. They have unlimited wealth, unlimited money, they have the means of force at their disposal. They have the means of coercion at their disposal, propaganda. And we actually have the right enemy identified. The thing is, though, is everybody seems to think that these enemies are all separate, but they're not. They're not. They're a hydra. It's a hydra with 6 fucking heads. Exactly, man. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Jerry, Andrew. And I didn't know that it was a real parasite, but I mean, truly, this is what we're up against here. And the Hydra, it's a mythical creature. At least the Greek mythology, the Hydra was this multi-headed dragon. Every time you cut a head off, it sprouts 2 more. That's like, it feels like that's exactly what we're fighting. Hang on, I'm not seeing the Twitch chats. 1 second. The Greek philosopher that created or came up with the Hydra. That's why we study Greek mythology. That's why we study civilizations past, because humans, there's nothing, like they say, there's nothing new under the sun. And we all have the same proclivities. There's only so much variability to humans. You're either low IQ or high IQ or somewhere in between. But we're no different than the billions of human beings that came, or the billion human beings that came before us, and all of their experiences and their lives. They all looked a lot like ours because they acted like we do. They had the same instincts we do. That's why we study that stuff, because they spot patterns. They spotted patterns. They spotted reoccurring things that we ourselves notice subconsciously, but don't put a name to the face or put a face to the name. That's why we study these old civilizations, because they have noticed problems, and possibly some of them they solved, that we're dealing with today. There's nothing new under the sun. Our form of democracy, we're still doing, what I'm like, there's not a whole lot of choices when it comes to these things. And it's extremely important, and they're trying to rob us of this knowledge as well. There's a reason why they're dropping all this stuff like Greek mythology. Do they even teach that anymore? I doubt it. I doubt it very much so. But the Hydra, it just kind of occurred to me how poignant and how what a key observation that is. And like the Minotaur and these mythological deities that were in the past, like, they may seem childish or superstitious, but a lot of it is just people putting faces to names and names to what I mean, just trying to visualize their problems, just like we do. We just do it with a different flavor. We make Mecha Godzilla and shit like that. Or Godzilla is a perfect example. Godzilla is the Japanese imagination's rendering of nuclear holocaust or nuclear explosion. That it's a human rendering. It's a human figment of a human imagination. It's a way to bring it down to earth, bring the atomic bomb down to earth. They turned it into a gigantic lizard that's just stomps all over their cities. And that's that's relatively modern. It's maybe a century old. And it's not a whole lot different than the Hydra. Not a whole lot different at all. Oh, I like this. That's dope. Hell yeah. Look, dude, they got the American flag is backwards. Shit. AI can be kind of tough to deal with. The amount of support we have received here in Ireland this week from the USA and UK and around the world has simply been phenomenal. Yeah, man, because we're all in the same boat with you, dude. We are in the boat. We're sinking in the boat just adjacent to you guys. You know, we're all in the same slip. You know, and we're all fighting off these, you know, we're overloaded. Our boats are overloaded. They're about to capsize, and we're beating these uncivilized savages back out of the boat. Yeah, yeah, I was trying to think of the word there, Con. Yeah, exactly. They're perfect metaphors. Same thing with, with the Hydra and stuff. And really, I've always known that they were not to be taken literally and that they were metaphors, but really the Hydra really didn't hit home for me till just now, till I was talking about it. Yeah, we are all in the same Weedle. Weedle or Weed Hall. Great Hall in Anglo-Saxon. Yeah, hell yeah, we are. Weed Hall. You know, that I would imagine Weed Hall, what that is that's probably where the medieval Europeans stored their grain in a great central town hall kind of a thing. You know, that's town hall precisely. Everybody keeps their grain in the town hall. Oh wow. Brighton. Oh yeah, these Brighton protests were a big deal today. Good for these people. Like, people have had enough. And this is the time right now. The iron is hot, man. It is hot. It's time to strike. The UK is weak. They are weak, man. This is the best they've got here. Is what we're looking at in the UK and in Ireland. This is the best the Bobbies have got. And we should be taking advantage of it. And that's everybody is with Ireland, because if they are successful, this will be the model going forward. This will be the model. And I don't want to see, look at this, Nazis flee as 10,000 anti-fascists reclaim our streets. So proud of our anti-fascist city today. I'm so proud. Look, we've made them flee. You do realize that this is the precursor to civil war, you stupid cunt. Jade Eckhouse. Do you not realize those streets are going to be burning here shortly? You think it's fun? Oh, and we've chased the fascists out of the street. Well, this is the beginning. Those people that chase those other people out of the streets, it's going to be torch and pitchfork time here shortly, especially when you have factions going back and forth like this. It's literally a matter of time. Stupid. Oh, I seen this one earlier too. Everybody picking up crosses. Man, I love the St. Andrew crosses, or I love the Celtic crosses, like St. Andrew, St. Patrick. I love how they're all saints crosses. You have St. Patty's cross, St. Andrew, St. George. It's Bison George. By St. George, we will get our countries back. I've seen this one too. Puma. The UK, it looks like it's fixing to go up in a civil war. Like, it's the first time I've ever had that feeling and had the inclination to say that out loud. I just hope that we can beat these anti-fascists. I hope we can beat them in an open fight. Because that's increasingly, it looks more and more like that's where it's going. Wow, that's wild. Damn. Holy shit. That is so. It's crazy how it's just so. It's in that three-dimensional. It's on a three-dimensional plane, and there's nothing around it, but you can see the vortex created by the propulsion and the heat. Oh wow! Here's, look at, you know what this is, bro? The White House. The fuck, man. Don't care what your political views are. Everyone should be absolutely embarrassed and ashamed that this is happening at the Lincoln Memorial and White House. Bro, absolutely. Absolutely, bro. This does not reflect good on us, man. Like, it makes a mockery of what should be sacrosanct. Truly sacrosanct.
The whole world know me. Fuck it, throw me. Fuck it, throw me. King of the street and the locals know me. Throw the bin.
Throw the bin. The hell? This is crazy, man.
Let's go in. Green will live in. Shades on tight, rolling through the estate on a Friday night. Who said no? I said what?
Crazy how, man, there's so it's so easy to make media now. It's, you know, to make the thumbnail that I made for this video would have been impossible for me to make that myself. It would have taken a lot of time, a lot of effort. What's that between the World Cup, bringing in a whole slew of foreigners, and this, the patrician class just wants the fall of Rome at this point. That's how it looks, man. That is how it looks. Well said. It is treason. I agree with you there, Jerry. Yeah. Toledo in Visigothic Spain. Damn, it's storming outside. Yeah, hopefully we don't squander this opportunity. And it doesn't look like it. People have had enough. Here's another one. I think this is Glasgow. Sorry. Bro, look, dude, this is a blue-haired old lady out on riot control? What the fuck is going on, man? We're not serious. Our governments are not serious. A lot of people are not serious about, like, life. What the fuck is a blue-haired old woman doing out on the police force on riot control? Not, I mean, on the police force, period. That's absurd. This woman is out doing riot control. Is it any wonder that they can't control what's going on? Is it any wonder that it's totally out of control? It's spiraling. The British police, the British government, they have no control over the situation. Yeah, it's because they're sending blue-haired old ladies out on riot control. It's insane. It's pathetic too. What serious nation allows that? Does anybody think China uses blue-haired old women as bro? It's such a joke, man. It's a joke. It's a sick joke. In the hell? Yeah, I'm. It's disgusting. You know something else I noticed too. You know, the British, they have amazing uh crowd chants and crowd fight songs and little, the ole, 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 because they go to soccer games. They go to these mass events where there are thousands and thousands of people. So when they're in these crowds, they know how to get each other pumped up. They know the chants. They know this stuff. Like I seen one the other day where they were marching and they were all locked in unison with a drum, one of those big thumping drums they use in marching bands. And everybody's like got their hands up, fight, kind of. It's just incredible, man. And we don't have that here. At least it doesn't seem like it. They're a much more cohesive group than we are in America. I feel like it's because we're kind of spread out a lot. So they're like us. We're kind of, this is new to us. I've never done this. I've never participated in anything like that. And you see protests in America, and they never are that organized. They're never in unison like that. Everybody's out for a different reason. It's a mess. And they have my admiration. Restore. There's another one in Glasgow. Jesus. I love that guy, and the guy with the British mask. Sick. Jeez. Have you guys seen any of the videos of the police kicking people in the head? It's insane, bro. They've gotten so violent over there, the cops. Wow, this is Liverpool. Liverpool, Sheffield, Brighton, Belfast. Bro, Britain is on fire. Absolutely. These are my people too, bro. I mean, it's a damn shame that it had to come to this, but bro, they asked for this. They asked for this. Wow. Holy shit, dude. Whoa. Damn. People are not messing around, man. Whoa. Dude. That cop is on fire. Holy shit, man. Wow. Bro, they thought we were a bunch of pussies. They thought we were their bitch. That's what they thought. They thought Europeans were their bitch. They thought white people was their bitch and that they were just going to roll over and take it. No. No, we can take a lot more adversity, a lot more punishment than these low IQ coloreds. But when we've had enough, and you know, and that's a testament too, we can take a lot of punishment, but we all have, what are they? It's the survival instinct, self-preservation, and it's like we held out as long as we could until we're on the edge of a cliff. We're looking out into a abyss, and they just keep shoving us further, closer and closer. We go right to the edge, and then snap. And Keir Starmer may have just doomed the UK to ashes because he's such a piece of shit. Because he refuses, because liberalism is such a precious ideology to Keir Starmer. Everything is going to be lost now. Because he was unwilling to compromise, unwilling to understand and to have any sympathy. They're going to burn that country down because of that piece of shit, Keir Starmer. And he's going to stand there. What? Don't look back at anger. What about our diversity? Yeah, our diversity is getting people killed, asshole. It's not our strength. We don't like the diversity. We don't want the diversity. And, you know, when these countries go up in smoke and there is a pile a mile high stacked with dead sand niggers, why couldn't they have just done it the easy way? Why did they force this? Incredible. They forced this shit. They forced this. They made a pressure cooker of their own country. It's like they throw in. It's like taking feral cats, like 50 of them, and throwing them into a fucking gunny sack. And then tossing it into a sauna, and then, like, let's see what happens, locking the door, and then let's, see what happens. Bro, you have an island. You overfilled the island with all these disparate groups that have no history together. They hate each other. Then you lock the door and turn up the heat, and then you're surprised when people start burning it down. Bullshit. UK went up. Damn it. Fucking bullshit. I just totally didn't even. Cool, though. Definitely cool. I wonder if that's real. That must be AI. Belfast. Oh, look, they're bringing in the military now. Uh-oh. Military sliding through on this one. We'll see how this goes. I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think it's too little too late. Maybe if they had sent in the military from the jump, okay, that might have worked. But I think it's too late now. And, at some point, if this keeps going, the cops will join. The cops will join with the people protesting. Yeah, I tend to agree with you there, Robin. Absolutely. I tend to agree with you. Oh, wow. Your Taz answer, 99.9% Irish. That's crazy. Where are you at, Roxy? Where are you, in America? But yeah, that's crazy, though. I'm pretty sure that's pretty rare for somebody to have 99% Irish in America. That's wild. Oh shit, Roxy, you're older than me. Fuck you. What is Roxy? What is that short for? Roxanne? I guess it is, yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, we are tired. Absolutely. Well, and at this point, people we don't have much of a choice, man. We're getting brutalized every day. There's a new stabbing, and it's been this way for years. They were just able to keep it quiet before. Remember, this has been going. We've been watching. Oh, it's your cat's name. Ha! That's funny. I've always wondered. We've been watching this for years. I think they have a knife attack a week or more. I think every day there's a knife attack in Europe or multiple. And they covered it up. But they are not able to cover it up now, I guess, for whatever reason. Hmm. The fuck? Uh-oh. Holy shit. Bro, this is in a European Western nation in the northern, the temperate zone. We have people, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. God wills it, in the name of God. Well, and I think at some point, those cops, they're Europeans. They are Europeans. Although the cops, the bobbies in Britain, they've been they've been so propagandized. Maybe they don't identify as Europeans anymore. I could tell you what, it ain't that way in America, though. That's a fact. Cops here, they're like some of the more red-blooded Americans. But at some point, cops, they're part of the people too. And part of me thinks there's no way that they're okay, that they're down, they like this. How can they be okay being replaced? Watching their people snuffed out. At some point, their job isn't going to be worth it. Especially if the government, if it starts coming into question, it becomes shaky. Well, then they may not get paid. And this is, I think we are witnessing this might be the fall of the UK. Maybe the start of the fall of the West. Could be. But it becomes like a positive feedback solution, a vicious circle. When people stop having faith in the government, if it's not rock solid, it's like it's a downward spiral. Yeah, no, the Irish, no, they didn't colonize anybody. I mean, even the Scots tried to colonize, New Caledonia, which was a failure, but it was in Central America, like at the Darien Gap. Even basically every other peoples in Europe have tried to colonize. It's except for like Ireland. Oh wow. Homeboy is that one guy with the mustache that Tucker had on recently. He's got his tweed herringbone jacket. I love the aesthetics, how the early 20th century aesthetics are totally back. They're totally in vogue again. What the hell? The world is a cat playing with Australia. Funny. That is funny. It's so sad how all the youth of English are run out of their own country. It's been years now. I did a couple videos on it like 2 years ago, where the youth of Britain, they couldn't get a leg up in Britain. They can't get jobs. They can't buy, they can't even make enough money to start a life. So they all go to Hong Kong. They learn new languages and they go all over the world. They're like turning into a diaspora, homeless people. No, I didn't. Holy shit. A North African migrant was shot in the head in front of, wow.
Well, for the
Sky
past
News.
week,
Fuck Sky News.
by the way, we have some very, very, very good news, okay? 4 activists jailed over 22 years over Elbit factory raid and police injury. These are the people that broke into the building. They were being restrained by police. It was the girl with...
I gotta use the bathroom right quick. Be right back.
Like the really big sledgehammer. She hit a girl in the spine and she damaged this woman's spine. She was a police officer. So sentenced and imprisoned on the grounds of terrorism, no jury ever convicted them of. Historic miscarriage of justice and a truly dark day for civil liberties. All 4 were cleared of violent intent. Imagine driving a car into a building and then fighting off police officers and hitting one of them with a hammer. Then you think that you should be cleared of violent intent. Ultimately, people like Mehdi Hassan will always run defense for groups that support and enable Islamic terrorism. In a saner world, all 4 of them would be executed. Check his quote response to me. Oh, did he respond to me? This freak, 1.3 million followers, wants to execute a group of young people who took direct action to prevent a genocide. He wants to execute them. The modern online fascist right. Okay. Yes, that is exactly what I want, and I will vote for anyone who will do it. They are literally defending putting people in jail for taking a sledgehammer to the spine of a police officer. So this is what these people did. As I said, bro, like it's like scuffed Dark Knight.
Ding from both of us. Put it down.
See? Imagine saying that they didn't have violent intent. They're literally running at people with sledgehammers. She got a sledgehammer over her shoulder. She getting ready to hit somebody with it. She getting ready to bonk. Why doesn't he have a gun? This is in the UK. And I think this is the police officer. In a normal world, you'd shoot him on sight. Oh wow, look at this. Wait. There we go. Oh yeah, this right here, gentlemen. Hey guys, these are the people that they're defending. They're defending literal people running in here and hitting you with a sledgehammer.
Oh wow, you guys remember Fear Factor with Joe Rogan? That was like the first time I ever heard of Joe Rogan. I'm getting severe weather alerts from Alexa. What the hell? Ooh.
Where does the Iran war go?
I think at this point in time, where we are is that President Trump is desperate to get a settlement.
He is.
He understands the economic consequences of this war going on for a few more months with the straits closed would be disastrous. He's got to get a deal. And not just simply for economic reasons, but for political reasons as well. The midterm elections are coming up, and he runs the great danger that if the economy is tanked by November, that both the House and the Senate will be run by the Democrats, and he will get impeached and found to be guilty. So he wants to avoid that. And of course, he wants to avoid crashing the international economy for obvious reasons. So he's desperate. You can see it in his face. You can see it in his actions. The problem that he faces is that he can't get the Iranians to accept what is, from an American and an Israeli point of view, a favorable deal. The Iranians are now in the driver's seat. The Iranians started this war on February 28th of this year in a much weaker position than they are in now. They've actually done quite well in the war. as we saw when they attacked Israel a few days ago. Here you have a situation where Israel did not attack Iran. Iran felt that it was free to attack Israel. And Iran has made it clear it's more than willing to go up the escalation ladder with us and with Israel. They feel like they're in the driver's seat. So the Iranians won't cut President Trump any slack. They won't give him a deal that'll allow him to walk away from this. And again, he's under ever-present pressure on the economic front to shut this one down. At the same time, the Israelis will not cooperate with him either. What Trump really wants to do is cut a deal that basically accepts the fact that Iran won. He can't change Iran's position. And he's got to accept the fact that Iran has won and cut a sweetheart deal for Iran.
They have
But the
won.
Israelis, under no circumstances, want him to do this. And Bibi is resisting. So what's happening here is Trump is being pushed from one side by Bibi, and he's being pushed on the other side by the inexorable forces of the international economy as it reacts to the shutdown straits. Okay. So what's happening is that desperate Donald Trump is beginning to put pressure on the Israelis because he can't put pressure on the Iranians. He's putting pressure on the Israelis in ways that he's never done before. So he had this conversation where he said really terrible things about Prime Minister Netanyahu last Monday. This was on June 1st, right? And he's been really playing hardball with the Israelis in ways that we've not seen before. And you can tell that Bibi Netanyahu understands this. He understands that Trump is desperate and that Trump is putting real pressure on him. Now, Netanyahu has resisted to a large extent, not completely, but to a large extent up to now. But I would maintain that what's likely to happen as we move forward is that international economy is going to continue to put pressure on Trump. And because he can't put pressure on the Iranians who are in the driver's seat, he's going to put pressure on the Israelis in ways that he has never done before. So the question you have to ask yourself is, what is this growing conflict between the United States, and in particular Donald Trump, and Benjamin Netanyahu going to look like moving forward?
How do you think this conflict is resolved, and how quickly?
You know, honestly, the way I see it, Netanyahu and Donald Trump are one and the same. I heard somebody say they've been playing good cop, bad cop. That's one way to look at it. But I think they're just two pro wrestlers. One of them is a heel and the other one is the hero. Donald Trump is playing the hero. Benjamin Netanyahu is playing the heel. They're putting on a show for everybody. They're putting on a show. And Iran might be in on it too. Who knows? It is pro wrestling. At least that's how it feels. But a lot of this is just, it's just a show so that we watch.
I think that basically you'll end up with something like a frozen conflict. I think that you want to understand that what President Trump is trying to do here is he's trying to get a ceasefire, right? And the idea is that if you can get a ceasefire for 30 or 60 days, the number changes, that after you get this ceasefire in place, you can then move to negotiations on things like the nuclear issue, reparations, the future of the overall package of sanctions, and so forth and so on. You want to understand here that we're not talking about settling the nuclear issue in these initial negotiations. The initial negotiations that are going on now are designed to set up a real ceasefire. In other words, we want to stop the shooting completely, and this includes in Lebanon, right? Stop the shooting completely. We want to open the strait, end the American blockade and the Iranian blockade. Open the strait. The Iranians want $24 billion in frozen assets given back to them.
Their money.
Their money. That's three. That's number three. And number four is the Iranians want sanctions taken off their sale of their oil on global markets. Okay. So those are the four things that have to happen to get a real ceasefire. But you notice in those four elements, you see no evidence of the nuclear issue or the question of overall sanctions or reparations or control of the strait moving forward.
Right.
All these issues will be settled in the second round. Now, my view is that you're probably going to get a real ceasefire at some point because that will open the straits. And opening the straits matters immensely to President Trump because of what the consequences are for the international economy.
Ooh.
Now, when it comes
Mark
to
Levin is fixing it.
violating that
16
ceasefire,
seconds.
the country that will violate it
Let's
is
watch this
Israel.
Mark Levin bullshit.
But if
I
Israel
love hate
violates the
watching it.
ceasefire and the Iranians react by shutting down the straits again,
K9 at your hotel. That sucks. Bro, it is fucking boring. Good Lord.
Going on, isn't there?
I-
Changes almost every minute.
I hate watch this guy. He's such a piece of shit.
I think I owe you an explanation. When I speak to you from this incredible platform, I'm blessed to be able to do so. Same with my radio show.
He's
There are
blessed.
really so few of us who have such an incredible opportunity, and I do not take it for granted.
I do not take my position as chief propagandist for granted. I do not take it for granted that you are a captive audience. That, I mean, that's what it is. I don't take my position as the Pied Piper over an ignorant, oblivious population that swallows all of the horse shit I spoon feed them.
Contrary. I view this as an opportunity to share history, philosophy, and yes, my opinion with you and our fellow Americans.
Fuck you.
I think hard about what I'm going to say. I dig deeply into the facts, books, essays. I treat each of
He digs deeply into the past and into facts so that he can propagandize people, so that he can twist that history, twist those facts to his diabolical evil ends. That's what this fucking guy does. He goes into American history and he looks for historical events that will inspire pride and inspire positive feelings, and then he uses those to his own machinations to forward his own ends. It's so evil. And you know what? When we kick this piece of crap, and when we kick these scumbags out of our country, out of our lives, there will be a shout, a cry of freedom that hasn't been heard since the Roman Empire fell. A shout of freedom.
you as you'd want to be treated, as I would want to be treated, as intelligent, patriotic Americans.
Okay, well, how come you want to be treated like I want to be treated? Well, why is it that you don't want to treat all human beings with as intelligent and this, the way he talks right here? This is the same guy that talks about Palestinians and then anybody who disagrees with him being cockroaches and being the most despicable stuff. So this is crocodile tear shit. This is bullshit. This guy, he tries to play this game where he's a disgusting Hitler-like Zionist, but he also wants to come off as the sweet old grandfather when it suits him. And it's like, bro, you don't get to do that. You don't get to call Ron Paul a fucking cockroach and then turn around and say, start talking about how people should treat each other and this and that. Fuck you, bro. Fuck you.
People who believe in faith and family. Rush Limbaugh told me a long time ago.
Bro, and over and over trampling on Rush Limbaugh's grave. It's absolutely disgusting.
Never underestimate the intelligence of your audience, and I never do. My audience is you. Not politicians, not the press, not some group. Not some group that wants to put you in a category or use the slogans or whatever.
Yeah, just somebody that I want to propagandize. He's like, everybody else, they want to hurt you and do this and treat you like an idiot. But really, I'm the one who wants to hurt you and treat you like an idiot. You're mine. You're my bitch. Like he gets jealous if somebody else gets to propagandize his captive audience. You're my bitch. I'm Bubba. I'm your Bubba. How dare those people try to put you over a barrel?
Whatever it is, that's of no consequence to me. And too often there are some who see all of us as a team this or a team that. I'm on Team America, just like you, Mr. and Mrs.
Fuck you, bro. This guy is on Team Israel. He is not on Team America. If it came down to it, if he could only have one citizenship, I doubt that he would choose America. And honestly, he shouldn't even get that choice. We just need to kick him the fuck out of our country, out of our politics, period.
America. Those who stand up with America stand with us. Those who don't stand against us. My principles.
Dude, how do you get to wrap yourself in the flag? Who gave you the right to say you're America? And this guy made a post on X recently where he's talking about he's the voice of America. Then down with the voice of America. I mean, whatever America he's the voice of, fuck that. Fuck that. It's not the America I know and love.
Haven't changed since I was a young man. My values are as they've been from the very beginning. And this is my approach and thinking when I discuss the situation with you involving Iran. History is the greatest teacher. Unfortunately, too many people believe
history is the greatest teacher. Bullshit. Anybody can go into the history books and cherry pick events and situations that suit their ends presently. Because there's nothing new under the sun. If this guy wants to go back into the history books and dredge up some shit to get people to commit suicide, it can be done. Or to at least get America to commit suicide. It's easy. People do it every day. History is the greatest teacher. Well, it depends on what you're learning. What's up, Alex? Because you can literally go back in history and find examples for anything, like diabolical shit, vampirically sucking the blood from children, like the likes of this scumbag do.
the world begins today, and I'm including politicians for sure. And therefore, all wisdom and knowledge are whatever we think it is at a given moment
I love body armor
in our lives. There's no perspective. There's no context. Just the latest news cycle, the price of a gallon of gasoline, the fluctuation of the stock market, and so forth and so on. There's lots of talk and lots of debate about a memorandum of understanding, a deal.
He is so pissed off. This guy is so pissed off that we deal with Iran. I mean, as far as he's concerned, we should just wipe that country off the map. That's the way he speaks about it. And it's like any time that we're close to making a deal, he comes out and says how off we are. It's like he doesn't want the cat to get out of the bag, that Iran is a peaceful nation that just wants to live. And him and his ilk want to destroy those people. They consider Gaza, they consider Iran to be one big concentration camp that they want to exterminate.
Negotiations. Will it hold? Will it not hold? Or military action, past or going forward. Should we take that action or not? Every opinion that I've shared with you about the Iranian regime is based on its history, our history, and the history of our dealings with it and its dealings with us.
Well, you know something, dude? They've only been our enemy for like 40, 50 years. They've been on the planet for 5,000 years, but you want us to judge them, but only on this fucking tiny little speck of a portion of the time that they've been on Earth, of their history. And he wants us to just condemn these people as unfit to live with, as unfit to live in this world with us, as these evil beings that want nothing more than to end humanity. And it's so, I mean, in the history books, 50 years or whatever, when people are looking back, this guy he'll be in the same category as Satan, as Lucifer himself.
It's also based on a deep understanding of the regime itself, its ideology, Islamist roots, intentions, goals, and operations. I have said here many times, and I will repeat it again, that the West, and that includes too many decision makers, does not comprehend what we are dealing with. We are not dealing with a typical nation state or government or even military.
Or even human beings. He's saying these aren't typical human beings. That's exactly what he's trying to do there. These aren't human beings like you. These are disgusting subhuman animals. I mean, that's all this guy does is turn people against other people, dehumanizes other people. Bro, he makes it sound like they're fucking aliens, like they're not human beings, just like us. That they don't have anxieties and fears and loves and passions. If anybody is subhuman, if anybody is less than human, it's this guy and that tiny little country in the Middle East. Those are the people that are alien, that don't have feelings and emotions like the rest of us, other than greed and avarice and hatred.
We're not dealing with a regime that views diplomacy as a way to work out differences and avoid war. We are dealing with a cause. That is, this revolution is the only reason the Islamist regime in Iran exists. It is the only reason why
they don't exist to live their life. They don't exist to raise their kids. They don't exist to go to work and come home and earn a living. They exist to kill you. Bro, this is fucking so deeply evil. Bro, the Nazi party never, they didn't do shit this bad. You know, they actually had standards. You know, this guy, he gets out of control with it. He comes out of left field with shit. ICBMs. I mean, he will say whatever he has to say to scare people. It's really theater. This guy does a theater show. And his people, they trust him and they're tuned out of reality enough to where they actually accept it. They actually swallow it. I mean, we have to reach these people.
Was a revolution in Iran in the first place. It does not seek accommodation, compromise, coexistence, tranquility.
If they didn't seek that, why would they be showing up to negotiations? You know what I'm saying? Iran shows up to these negotiations. If they didn't want compromise, why would they even do that? Why would they not be attacking their neighbors? You know, why do they only respond to attacks? Why are they not offensively invading the Middle East and Pakistan if they're crazy like this? Well, you know, and people, they don't ask themselves these questions. And this guy, it's crazy. His pins, his American flag pin, it gets bigger every week, I swear. And it's a joke. It gets bigger every week. There should be a little Jewish Star of David on that medal, really.
Or peace. It seeks war and destruction. It's the only means to achieve Allah's command, which is to conquer and destroy any and all non-believers.
It's ridiculous. Conquering. Then why are they friends with Asia? Why is China get along so well with them? Why is it that China and Russia get along so well with these guys if all they want to do is kill non-believers? Yeah, maybe I guess, yeah, this stuff is kind of obvious.
The late, great Bernard Lewis, who was one of the greatest scholars on the Middle East, and particularly Islam. One of the greatest who ever lived. And yet I bet you never heard of him, and he's never been discussed. He wrote many books and papers on the subject, which I dare say are mostly collecting dust Lewis warned that the Iranian regime believes a devastating holy war will usher in the return of a messianic figure, the 12th imam that we've talked about here.
Man, we're on the verge of AI. We people don't participate in military battles. Robots do. We use drone ships to rescue downed Air Force pilots. We send out boats that have nobody on them to rescue our pilots in the water. And this guy is talking about holy war and bringing back a messiah while girls are on OnlyFans and this and that. This shit is absurd. This is absolutely absurd that these people are still trying to use religion and holy wars as some kind of as propaganda. It's crazy. Like, dude, those days are long gone, Mark Levin. Fuck you for continuing to spin these webs, telling these yarns and painting a world, painting a reality that is so far from what we actually are, the reality we're actually in. This guy is the propaganda or the purveyor of the Matrix, basically. What he is saying, it's all simulation. None of it exists at all. Yeah, there are Muslims still, but bro, these people, this guy's crazy. These people are like on the internet, like coding and like they're not radical. They don't have this Messiah. They have this Messiah complex. The Jews have a Messiah thing going on now. And really, they're using religion as a cudgel, as a way to influence and persuade populations. In Israel, they're using the Schofield Bible and all that stuff. They're using it to radicalize Israelis and get them and make it so that those people are accepting of this war, of all these wars, the constant war in the Middle East. They're using it to motivate their own people. They're the Jewish religion. They're using religion in America to get people to hate, or to scare people into hating Iran. I think honestly, the one actor in this conflict who's ironically not using religion is Iran. Iran is ironically the country that's not using religion to ideologically radicalize their own people. But we are, and Israel is. It's crazy.
Making catastrophic conflict a desirable outcome for the regime rather than a deterrent. A catastrophic conflict, quote unquote, a desirable outcome for the regime rather than a deterrent. That is their cause. That is their reason for existence. We are the enemy. We are Satan. We must be destroyed.
Who says who?
And it is non-negotiable.
Who? Show me the guy saying that, Mr. Levin. Show me the guy saying that's happened in the last 2 decades, and I'll believe you. I mean, seriously, show me where anybody has said that recently. It's all bullshit. And he's being fed this crap from some propagandist in Israel, I'm sure.
And by that, I mean the regime will lie and cheat and deceive and sign deals.
Yeah, they'll lie, cheat, and deceive. You can't listen to them. Don't listen to them. They don't want anything good. They're liars, cheaters. They break every promise they make. This guy, he's trying to make it so that there's only one option, and that's to murder and kill Iran. I mean, that's what he's trying to do, is paint a picture that we have no choice but to murder this and destroy this country. We have no choice because they won't any deal. Basically, he's putting a poison pill in there. You know, this is real propaganda, and it's laid on so thick. You know, this is like the most hardcore propaganda I think anybody on the planet is being fed right now. It's Fox News, Mark Levin.
But all of it is a means to an unalterable end. In plain English, it is nothing but performative and manipulative. Lewis also explained, as I and others have, until we're blue in the face, that negotiating with the Ayatollahs or any part of this regime now was utterly futile. He argued that true peace would only come with the collapse or defeat of the regime and its replacement by a government chosen by the people. Hence, as I've been...
Bro, they had a government chosen by the people. We destroyed it because we wanted to steal their shit. Hell yeah. Isn't Scotland, they're playing Haiti, right? Yeah, they're playing Haiti.
Arguing for months.
This guy, I can't, and his hands shaking. Like who, this guy, he brings up some random dude from the past. We don't know this guy's bona fides. We don't know this guy's history, but we're just supposed to take his word for things like it's gospel. It's incredible. He says, oh, you know, the great such and such that, you know, his books are collecting dust. Well, I wonder why that is. And why the hell are you talking about him now? And why the hell should we give a damn what this guy thought?
That somehow, some way, we must arm the Iranian people. And you would think that after dealing with this regime for nearly half a century, our intelligence agencies would know who to arm and how to arm them and how to help them. If we have the will, there is a way. We did it during the Reagan administration on multiple continents, and it led to the ultimate collapse of the Soviet Union, which was far more powerful than the Iranian regime, which is on its back right now, thanks to our earlier joint military operations with our closest ally, Israel, thanks to the wisdom of our president. Bernard Lewis famously dug up the writings of the Ayatollah Khomeini, the founder of this movement and regime.
This is all bullshit. Nobody dug up this guy's writings, though. And if there are writings, if what he talks about right here is real, guaranteed it was forged by the CIA. This is all bullshit. I'm top to bottom. This is fucking bullshit. This is a heaping pile of dog shit. And it's all lies. And it's literally for death and destruction to make some scumbag richer.
Who is treated like a demigod by the regime. And when he was in exile, he wrote, that is, before the 1979 Islamist revolution in Iran, and Lewis found the Arabic and Persian texts of Khomeini's lectures, now known in English as Islamic Government, which would later be called Khomeini's Mein Kampf, named after Adolf Hitler's 1925.
That's stupid. He didn't name anything about anything. Mein Kampf, you just made that, you just made that connection, you scumbag. The guy put out a treatise or a fucking a dissertation or something. And then you know what? It could be about butterflies and unicorns for all we know. But because you think you're slick, you call it Mein Kampf. It doesn't matter what it's about now. Fuck this guy. Man, I wish that I was the fiery sword of God. Yeah, I think the cops would join if the government is shaky, they might not get paid, but I mean, chances are, at least in America, these are our countrymen. And they feel the same way we do. But I mean, I know in the UK they have propagandized the shit out of those cops.
Manifesto, in which he laid out the foundations of Nazism while serving in prison. Well, Khomeini did the same. And I should add that my own independent research discovered Khomeini's embrace of both Adolf Hitler and Vladimir Lenin. I've written about this. I've talked about the fusion between Marxism and Islamism. And you see this spreading worldwide, and you see it spreading in the United States of America in our communities. And the hub is now within the Democrat Party. Now, as historian Martin Kramer explained, what Bernard Lewis found was a work of unrelenting extremism, promising a harsh and purifying Islamic regime worldwide. Lewis struggled to get Washington and the New York Times to take it seriously. Sound familiar? Many wanted to believe that Khomeini would fade away if the monarchy fell. Of course, Lewis was right, and Iran ended up with a clerical dictatorship. and even more, the equivalent of the Nazi SS in the form of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. This isn't by accident. This isn't by accident. The purpose of the IRGC is to defend the regime's clerical and theocratic system.
Yeah, absolutely. They're under constant assault from imperialist pieces of shit like you. They've literally been beating back corporatists, imperialists, because they have oil. They have a huge ocean of oil. And they have spent the last half century fighting in a street fight with a bunch of highwaymen, brigands, murderers, thieves, crooks, the lot of these seedy, distasteful, evil Western characters. Mark Levin. As if this guy, I mean, as if the guy, he behaves like he's, you know, as if he's like an angel or something. And he's his hate, his voice, it's so obnoxious, it's so grating. But also what he says, it's evil. I mean, it really is. This is worse than what the Nazis did, by far.
That's why it's slaughtering its own people. It cannot be challenged, let alone protested. It must never.
Yeah, who knows if they're slaughtering their own people or not? I don't believe that. I don't believe it. It's so convenient for this piece of shit. It's so convenient for this guy. Everything that he talks about, so convenient for him. It just works out that they should be exterminated off the planet and Israel should get all their shit. Bro, fuck you, man.
Be denounced. But Lewis also
You
saw
traitor.
hope in the Iranian people themselves, as I do, and have stressed time and again. He argued that the Iranian people were, quote, increasingly pro-American, seeing the United States as the counterforce to a tired and calcified regime, unquote. Lewis
Tired and calcified?
That
bro, don't make me laugh. Calcified, ossified, I think those are really good descriptors for the United States. Our government is calcified, ossified, decrepit, in disrepair. It's like a crack house. You know, like you're living someplace like Detroit or something, and you're in like a nice neighborhood, and except there's that one crack house down the street. That we are that crack house at this point.
thought of
Our
any
country,
deals or
anyway, our
accommodations, I'm quoting
government,
him from years
politicians.
ago, that thought of any deals or accommodation with the regime should be rejected. The American goal should be, quote, to undermine and eventually replace it, unquote. Now, you see, when I mention that, it's, oh, he's a warmonger, a neocon.
Yes.
He's a Jew looking out for Israel.
Yes.
This is what I mean.
Yes.
Team A or Team B. When we get the line, we're not always.
You know, at least he says this stuff. At least he acknowledges that some people think that he's evil. And, you know, like at least he acknowledges that, yeah, there's a faction out there that think I'm dastardly. They think that I'm diabolical. You fucking A right we do. We think you are diabolical, bro. We think you're fucking poisoned. You're cancer. You are literally cancer on our body politic. You son of a bitch.
Aligned with Israel, you understand. They want to take out the regime. We want a deal. They're not always aligned. I don't get that at all. In other words, it's
what
not
don't you
enough to
get?
defeat
We
their
don't agree with Israel. We don't align with them. We don't want to deal with them. We don't want to fight alongside them. What don't you get about that, you fucking heeb?
Perry, in Iran, the regime itself must be pulled out by the roots.
Who
and
says?
The only likely way that can happen is if the Iranian people.
You know what? If we get to pull out the Israeli regime by the roots too, then I'm down. Then fine. Let's just. Why don't we just invade the whole Middle East? We'll eradicate. We'll get rid of. You know, we won't. It'll be. We'll be equal opportunities. Equal opportunity. Distributors of the afterlife.
who are overwhelmingly
Do they even believe in hell? Oh, that's right. We create it for them.
opposed to the regime get the kind of clandestine support that they need. What does all of this mean? It means that a memorandum of understanding, from my perspective, or a final deal will not matter to the Iranian regime. It will not matter to the Iranian regime, even if they sign on the dotted line tomorrow, the next day, whenever.
He's absolutely right, because Israel will fulfill that prophecy. Israel will sabotage it. Guaranteed. Any peace, Israel will not allow Iran to abide by that treaty. Israel will implant somebody in that country to cause an uprising that breaks the. Israel will bring that shit about because Israel wants Iran. They will not allow Iran to live in peace. They will propagandize, they will lie, they will steal and cheat. And that's what Iran is fighting against. They're fighting against these vicious, hateful people that want their shit, that want Iran's shit. That's what Iran is up against, a faction of bloodthirsty, just disgusting warmongers.
If they're bombed into signing one or the other or both at some point, they will never abide by any of it. They cannot. They cannot. Because as a matter of religious and political.
And when this guy when he's talking about Iran, but really what he means is Israel. He's actually describing Israel, that they can't allow this to continue. Yeah, just imagine he's talking about Israel. It's a beautiful
ideology, doctrine. They will not.
Somebody needs to clip this and dub over every time he says Iran and trade Iran and Israel out so people can hear the truth.
And bend to the demands of the great Satan. They will not bend to the demands of the very people and society and government they exist to destroy by any means necessary. They would be committing an act of defiance against Allah, for whom they are committed to die. We and they are on two totally different wavelengths. Totally different wavelengths. They view the act of diplomacy as a last resort, but as a resort to survive. For them to survive, and ultimately for us to lose. Khomeini wrote, and I quote,
"It's not a zero-sum game, dude. It's not a zero-sum game. In fact, this shit going on with Iran for half a century, it's only hurt us. We are the only ones that have been hurt by this insistence on hating Iran. We're the only ones hurt by it, and we're continuously hurt by it. Our economy is just falling apart because of your hatred for them. The whole world's economy is hurting bad and has been for half a century because we insist on trying to subjugate these people, trying to steal their oil. It's done nothing but hurt us. Why won't they just let it go and do business with these people? Just let it go. Let them be, man. They're not going to lay down for you. When will you learn the lesson? The British learned this lesson. The British didn't keep banging their fucking head on the wall trying to subjugate these people. They just went around, they were like, well, it would require more effort than the juice is not worth the squeeze. And the British, they just moved on to greener pastures. They took over India and China. They said the same thing about China. That the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. They didn't have it. It would require so much effort and doing such distasteful, evil shit that it wasn't worth it. Mark Levin, though, he doesn't come to the same conclusion. He's willing to get his hands that dirty.
Islam says, whatever good there exists is thanks to the sword and to the shadow of the sword. People cannot be made obedient except with the sword. The sword is the key to paradise, which can be opened only for the holy warriors There are hundreds of other Quranic psalms and hadiths, sayings of the Prophet, urging Muslims to value war and to fight. Does all this mean that Islam is a religion that prevents men from waging war?
Dude, we have the exact same songs. We have the exact same songs about how remember after 9/11, all of the country songs that came out glorifying warfare and dying for your country. It's so fucking ridiculous. Bro, it's so naked. It's nakedly evil. Both sides. And the way that one is okay but not the it's all a matter of perspective. And this guy wants people to die for that. He wants people to sacrifice their lives. You are no if Khomeini did write that, you are saying the exact same thing, man. You are just the flip side of that coin, you filthy person, you filthy bastard. Literally, he's the flip side of the coin. He's the exact same thing, just in the opposite direction. And not only that, but you know, that guy, who knows what this has been translated from? Persian? Although I know Khomeini speaks French, I think, or he spoke French. But you know, who knows if he actually wrote this? And none of us can read Farsi, so it's ridiculous. This guy may have never written anything down. We don't know that. And he probably did, but I'm just saying everything Mark Levin is saying, it's fairy tales. This is all bullshit. And it's to get people fired up, and it's to get people to willingly sacrifice themselves, sacrifice their life, and die for him and his fucking rich cohort, his rich scumbag friends, his rich J friends.
Upon those foolish souls who make such a claim. That's a direct quote. The Imam throughout his life called America the great Satan. He believes that all the Muslims' problems were caused.
You know, this guy died like decades ago. He died decades ago. What the fuck do his writings have to do with anything? Oh, what he believed? What does that matter? What does it matter the guy's dead. He's not influencing people anymore. Oh, he's influencing Americans to hate those people because Mark Levin is twisting his words and painting a picture of the Iranians that is diabolical. It's downright dastardly.
Caused by America. The entire foundation of America, our country, the Judeo-Christian values and beliefs, the Enlightenment, our Declaration of Independence that we celebrate, the 250th anniversary in just a few weeks, our beloved Constitution, they're not only completely incompatible with the Iranian Islamist cause and revolution, but...
Bro, we used to pride ourselves on living alongside different people. Remember, diversity is our strength. Yeah, exactly, Roxy. The Talmud is disgusting the way it talks about us. Just fucking lost that thread.
They're all to be destroyed, along with us.
Oh, we used to pride ourselves about being able to live alongside different people. We had the diversity was our strength. But that's not what he's preaching. That's not what our government's preaching anymore. We can't. These people are so evil. We can't live alongside them anymore. We must exterminate them, bro. And why is that? Because they have a lot of oil, and they control one of the most consequential and important trade routes on the entire planet. The linchpin of the modern economy. They control that. That's what this all is all about. It's control over it's world dominance. It's control of the sea lanes and trade routes. And I don't think that's worth exterminating innocent people. I just don't. I think we can live alongside these people. I would rather, like Jeremy Irons said in the kingdom of heaven, I would rather live alongside men. I want to live with men, not kill them. This motherfucker is Guy de Luzion. We are Jeremy Irons. I forget what his name was in Kingdom of Heaven. We are Baldwin.
From my perspective, any MOU or deal might be adhered to by our government for a while, but it will not be adhered to by the...
What was Orlando Bloom's name in that? I forget where he was a real character. I forget what his wasn't Baldwin. I think it started with a B. I forget. So really, I like the name's really cool though. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Period. That's the history. That's the evidence. Putting everything I just said aside.
His dad was Godfrey.
Show me the evidence where they ever adhered ultimately to any deal.
Man, we had such good names at one point. Baldwin, Godfrey. So cool. Just the sickest names. Guy. I like Guy too, or Guy. I think that's a sick ass name as well.
Show it to me. We're attacking them today in one way or another because they wouldn't. And they haven't. What will change now? Maybe during the course of the next 2.5, 3 years, whatever's left of the Trump presidency, they will. But they're not going to, ultimately. The president has stated again and again that Iran must never have a nuclear weapon and it must never have access to enriched uranium. He has stated it, and he's trying to do something about it. That if they had a nuclear weapon, he said again and again, they would use it against us and Israel. And he's 100% correct. The detractors out there, whether they're Democrats, Islamists, Marxists, media, whomever they are doing a grave disservice to our country and providing enormous support for the enemy. And he was right to order a military attack against the Iranian regime to prevent it from getting any closer to having nuclear weapons. And it was enormously successful. We and our partners, Israel, fighting side by side. Wow. It didn't take long. It didn't take long to put them on their backs.
And we're all suffering because of this, you son of a bitch, man. Nobody can afford shit because of this. I mean, a fucking cup of coffee at Dunkin' Donuts is $4 for a medium cup of coffee. Not a latte, a medium black cup of coffee is $4 fucking because of you. And because of this bullshit, this insane monkey shine going on in the Middle East. 6 donuts is like $10.
To destroy the essence of their military. But then we entered into a ceasefire that lasted 9 weeks. It was routinely violated by the Iranian regime and Hezbollah.
And Israel violated over and over and over. Israel is keeping this war alive, not Iran.
Iran's proxy in Lebanon, which fired thousands of missiles and drones into northern Israel. Israel's prime minister is no patsy. Benjamin Netanyahu defends his people as our president defends us. And he did just that by ordering his military to take decisive action in Lebanon against Hezbollah. Because the Lebanese government and army are unwilling or too weak to act. The Lebanese people despise Hezbollah. Hezbollah has killed more Americans, including...
such a convenient narrative. The Lebanese government is unwilling to act. Yeah, they have a puppet installed. The president of Lebanon is some Israel first puppet. And Hezbollah is defending their women and children from being raped to death by some fucking skeezy, disgusting, fat nose having, ugly ass curl having, tiny hat wearing pieces of shit.
Our Marines than any terrorist group until 9/11 and Al-Qaeda. Iran controls Hezbollah. So then Iran fired 11 ballistic missiles into Israel, and Israel responded with military force, even though they were advised, don't do it or don't overdo it. Well, Iran then downed one of our Apache helicopters, and in response, we hammered the hell out of them for 2 nights. And we were prepared to go a 3rd night until an MOU was said to have been agreed to. And there are reports out there that Saudi Arabia, which was involved in 9/11, Qatar, which was involved in 9/11, is the #1 funder of terrorist groups around the world.
9/11 was 25 years ago, bro. 25 years ago. Those fucking dudes are dead that you're talking about that were a part of whatever. They're gone. They're dead and gone. Why is this guy talking about them? This should be a crime, what he's doing.
World has poured $400 billion into our country to undermine our educational system. Turkey, whose genocidal dictator Erdogan gave a speech a few days ago declaring he seeks the annihilation of Israel. And Pakistan, which is friendly with Iran, apparently urged us, according to reports, not to continue with military strikes. Well, whether they did or not shouldn't matter. Shouldn't matter. That's not aligned with us.
When he says shouldn't matter, he's saying ignore that information, ignore that data, ignore it. It doesn't look good for our cause. It doesn't lend itself to our narrative. Don't disregard it. Just disregard that fact. Disregard those facts altogether. They shouldn't matter. Don't pay any attention.
In our needs, in our decisions. I see
this guy is like a defense attorney, and we're the jury, and he's just going hard.
Relationship between our president and the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, as a FDR-Churchill relationship, as a Reagan-Thatcher relationship. History will write us of a Trump-Netanyahu relationship. I continue to believe that we should finish the spectacular military achievements we have won, arm the Iranian people, and get it over with. I truly do. The mass murdering death cult that is the Iranian regime is not going to commit suicide. It's not going to do, through diplomatic means, what we want it to do. It's just not. I fear what happens 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, where our children and grandchildren are going to have to do what our generation must do. It's our generation's obligation. The regime is the warmonger. We are the freedom lovers. This is our 250th year of independence. Our great founders showed...
Why are we the ones that keep picking a fight with them then? Why do we keep attacking them if they're the warmongers? Why is it that they haven't started a war with us in decades? I think they started some wars in the 80s or some shit, but they haven't started any wars with us, but somehow they're the warmonger.
Way, and I believe firmly our president is the man not only of the hour, but of history.
All right, thanks for watching. Check out my new...
Trump is an idiot. Let's see here. What's going on with Scotland? I haven't I don't even know where to check for that. Oh wow. Kurt Metzger has a show.
Danny Johns is your friend.
Huh.
I will forever.
I wanted to send a quick message to the little 12-year-old girl in Scotland and her friends and her mum and her family, just to say so well done to you for sticking up for your sister and for your friends and for being brave and bold and brandishing your weapons to tell those people to get away from you. Essentially, this 12-year-old girl and her friends in Scotland were being pestered by a Bulgarian guy saying, oh, I can show you girls a time. And then this Bulgarian monster got his sister who came and shoved one of our girls and she banged her head and all sorts of things. But then the Bulgarians claimed that the girls had approached them and were making racist comments about them. None of that happened. But of course, Police Scotland believed the Bulgarians. Police Scotland piled on in. They said that the girls would be arrested, that they would be reported to the relevant authorities to be dealt with, when those little Scottish girls were in the right all along. And it gets worse, because over in social media commentary land, the normal idiots piled on in. Like, for example, Narinder Kaur. She owes a massive apology to those little girls who stood up for themselves, that were right all along and told the truth all along. And Freddie Sayer, the guy that's the Billy Big Boss that runs Unheard and
Billy
publishes
Big
The
Balls.
Spectator and says, oh yes, my father was a QC with a very investigative mind, which is why I've got this brilliant investigative mind that I've got. No, Freddie, you were a posho prick who joined the pylon, who called all of us morons for backing the little girl and didn't believe the little girl's story. You owe her a proper apology. You owe her a sorry for being a massive thundercut. That's the sort of stuff that you should be saying round about now. That's not the point. The point is, to that little girl, the 12-year-old Scottish girl, you should be on the plinth in Trafalgar Square if I had my way.
Yeah.
To her friends, good girls for standing up for each other and looking after each other. All girls need to be doing more of that. And to the mum of those little girls, you should be very proud indeed. You said they were telling the truth all along. They were telling the truth all along. Police Scotland owe you a very great deal, including an apology. And I'm just here cheering you all on.
Yeah, I mean, good for them. When I saw that girl brandish that knife and that hatchet, you know, little girls don't look for trouble. Little girls are not violent. You know, like if you look in the past, the way children were, especially little girls with their bobby socks, they're innocent. And it's ridiculous that a police force, you know, they default to the white little girl is racist. What? Are you fucking mad? Have you lost your mind? Could that sound any more insane?
They don't even need to hear from us directly to know there's a problem, said an executive with a major oil company. There's no shortage of people out there saying this publicly. The inventories are at historic lows, the lowest since 1983. So your gas prices are going to be going through the roof. So I hate to break it to everybody, but gas prices are going way higher. And
finally, I love it.
Trump loves it.
Bullshit.
I hate to. He said
What
it.
the
He loves
fuck?
the inflation. He said it.
Thank you. Promises made, promises kept.
I hate to break it to you, and Jimmy, don't be such a panicistan.
You're a panic. You're a panic.
Are you a panicon? No,
Panicking.
it's not me saying
ridiculous.
it. You know who is
Stupid.
saying it? The oil executives are saying this. Oil executives, not Jimmy Dore, not panicans, but the oil executives warn White House gas prices are going to get higher.
Wow.
Yeah. So the thing that Donald Trump evidently loves more than his own family, inflation, because it makes everything bigger and better, except the economy surplus, our gas tanks, or our bellies. All those things are getting smaller. Here's Scott Bessent. He's going to say that the U.S., it's just a blip. Let's listen.
Except for inflation, which is, I believe, going to be a short-term blip. The economic data is...
It's just a blip. It's just don't worry. It's just a short blip. You know, blips are short term, like the war that he promised Trump wouldn't start to begin with.
Or when we bailed out Argentina's meat market at the expense of our own, because this asshole runs a hedge fund that the Soros boy and some other people you can't even name are in.
It's just going to be a blip. It's just going to be a blip. Here is his own. Here he is, Scott Bessent. He telling the American people that paying more at the pump are just short-term blip. And it is caused by the Iran war. Let's listen.
Is there a price that you've calculated at which we can no longer tolerate or stand?
Is there a price? I'm going to say the price is already right now. Donald Trump's ratings are the lowest of any president at this time ever. The last 8 presidents, just so you know. But let's see. That's a great question, by the way. Can you imagine they asked a great question on a cable news show? They asked him, is there a price that you can't tolerate? Because it's going. And here's what he says.
Right.
Or even if we were to go to $5 a gallon, is that like a cycle?
$5 a gallon was California a year and a half ago. What do you mean $5? Going to go to $5 a gallon? Wow. Sure. And in a couple of weeks, the gas prices are going to party like it's 1999. Okay.
Remember Larry Summer when the Ukraine war was doing this? And Larry Summer goes, there's always one of these Larry Summers or Scott Bessents to tell you, shut up, like Pelosi whenever the gas goes up.
Damn sure is.
Shut up.
Trump should do that.
And you would rather stay away from it.
Again, we are cognizant that this short-term blip up in prices is affecting the American people, but I am also confident on the other side of this, prices are going to come down very quickly. You know, the conflict will end. If we look at the stock market, what does the stock market see right now? The stock market is looking through this. You know, corporate earnings are good, employment is good, and this gasoline, this temporary aberration will be over in a matter of...
By the way, the people who run the stock market don't know anything.
No.
They don't even know that fertilizer, 70% of the farmers can't afford fertilizer, so our food prices are going to skyrocket in the winter.
Good.
They don't know this.
It's not
They don't
good.
know anything. They actually believe Donald Trump when he says we're close to a deal with Iran. Iran's not even negotiating. It's market manipulation. Trump knows he can manipulate Wall Street, and he's doing it. So, okay, here we go.
Weeks or a month.
Let's listen again.
Is there a price that you've calculated at which we can no longer tolerate or stand? Like, or even if we're going to get $5 a gallon, is that like a psychological mark that we and you would rather stay away from?
Again, we are cognizant that this short-term blip up in prices is affecting the American people, but I am also confident on the other side of this, prices are going to come down very quickly. You know, the conflict will end. If we look at the stock market, what does the stock market see right now? The stock market is looking through this. Corporate earnings are good, employment is good, and this gasoline, this temporary aberration will be over in a matter of weeks or a month.
Whatever.
So Scott Bessent isn't even consulting the oil executives on this, because all the oil executives are saying the exact opposite. In fact, they're warning him that prices are going to go higher.
I bet Scott Bessent might know this.
Well, I think he does. Oil and gas executives have warned the White House that gas prices could surge in coming months as fuel inventories fall to critical lows, complicating Trump's administration's efforts to contain inflation that has already rattled American consumers. Industry officials say they are doing everything they can to sound an alarm that prices are about to soar.
Wow, what the fuck?
Soar.
Man? This is not
like an eagle, like a
bro.
proud
We
eagle.
are
as
hurting.
the commercial and government inventories that have mitigated price rises so far are rapidly depleting, according to multiple people familiar with the conversations. So
I stocked up on ammo.
So the reason why gas prices have only soared a little and not a bunch is because they're burning through the oil reserves that you're supposed to have for emergencies. Okay. Some inventory, and that's about to run out. That's what they're warning.
Jeez.
Some inventories could be wiped out within weeks.
Of course.
The executives, I remember the story we did 2 weeks ago that they said that California's going to run out of gas in 6 weeks. Well, here we are. Now the executives at oil companies are saying the same thing. And that's going to happen coinciding with the peak summer travel season. I have absolutely no doubt the White House, from the president on down, is fully aware of the nearly universal alarm among oil companies and analysts about the direction of travel for oil prices this summer. Who said that? Bob McNally, who was an energy advisor to George Bush. And he's founded the research firm Rapidian Energy Group. Sounds like rapist. The warnings underscore the rising political and economic risks confronting Trump as the conflict with Iran drags into its 4th month, with little indication that a diplomatic breakthrough is imminent, despite periodic White House predictions of progress. Again, Iran is not even negotiating. All because what they want is Israel to stop bombing Lebanon and Gaza. And Israel is not going to do that, because when they do that, Benjamin Netanyahu gets kicked out of power and he goes to prison. So that's why he's never going to stop, and Donald Trump has no control.
Let's see what's going on. Wow, man, Restore. It's starting to look like they're going to be at least one of the top two, or they're going to outperform Reform. At least that's how it looks to me. People don't want that milquetoast, mushy, center right bullshit. Hell no, I don't agree with the strikes on Iran. Fuck no. Oh. Jesus. Wow. Anti-fascist. It's disgusting. What the fuck? Anti-fascist. Bro, you people are fascists. Bunch of thugs. Bunch of thugs out in the fucking street. It's disgusting. Yeah, sure. I cannot stand these leftists. They're evil, man, and they're going to drive us to civil war. they want everybody on the right to just lay down and let somebody decapitate them in the street. Wow. Fuck yeah. Damn, homeboy in the red jersey took his ass up boot air. Motherfucker, get out of here with your mandals. Fucking migrants, I love it. They're finally getting kicked. We're kicking that scum out of our country. Out of our countries, excuse me. Oh, wow. Haiti's trending and wonder, they must be winning. Maybe, maybe not. The fuck? Huh. Jesus, you know, these women, they just can't help themselves now. Because, you know, how you read the, these different studies and stuff that say people, Gen Zers aren't having sex and this and that. And because they're having so little sex, and the women, I guess, you know, they have those urges, man, they post themselves constantly. You go on Reddit and they post the naked pictures of themselves constantly. And it's just like, man, it's the flaw, it's human flaws, but then it's exacerbated, it's radicalized because of modernity and the worst aspects of humans, men and women, especially women though, because they're into social media more. It's like they can't help themselves and they're told that this stuff is okay. And it's just, and honestly, I think that it's tearing everybody apart. I seen a picture earlier that was, it showed it showed two women and said one was what Western civilization does to women, and the other one was what family or what traditional Western culture does to women. And the top one, they were both really pretty women and just innocent and fresh and clean, like young, untouched. The one at the top with the West, it's 3 pictures, and the middle picture was her with some tattoos. The third picture, she looked like one of those tattoo lizard people. She, you know, her eyes, I think she had her eyelids tattooed, and she looked like a cartoon or something, you know, where she at first she only had tattoos on her chest in the middle one, and then by the third one, yeah, she looked like one of those lizard people, and with black eyes, you know, and she had piercings. And then the one on the bottom was just a woman. It was equally young woman, and then it was her with a child, I think, and you know, it was very wholesome, and it was a perfect analogy, a perfect show of the contrast. And I think that's what modern Western culture is doing to women. It's like, and you know, all the tattoos and stuff. The difference when I looked at that meme, the difference that struck me about it was that one of them focuses on other people and helping and building up the people around them. The other one focuses and obsesses about theirself, obsesses about everything about themselves, and it ends up portraying itself as tattoos and shit, because modern people, modern women especially, are so obsessive over themselves. You know, you can see it all, that their tattoos that cover every inch of skin but their face. It's like, man, all this person does all day long is think about themselves, think about themselves. And, the mother, she's thinking about other people, and it's beautiful. But then with modern women, they're not thinking about other people. They're encouraged to obsess and focus on themselves to an unhealthy degree. People are being encouraged to form unhealthy habits and to live unhealthy lives. And I mean, it tears me apart. Like, I can't stand it because I see these beautiful, innocent human beings, especially especially for women, it fucking breaks my heart to see how women are being ravaged by modern Western culture. They're being ravaged. They're miserable. Outwardly, they look miserable. Outwardly, they look like they have pathological behaviors and thoughts. Like all the tattoos over every inch of your that doesn't illustrate a healthy mind, a healthy mental state, or even a healthy perspective on life. I mean, there's a reason, like AA, all of these different self-help movements and stuff, they all revolve. There's one through line that goes through AA, NA, self-help, those, I forget what they call that, like the people like Tony Robbins that, they're inspirational speakers. It all has one thing in common: getting out of your own head. Stop focusing on yourself. Focus on helping the people around you. And your life will get better. You will stop beating yourself up. You'll stop obsessing over yourself, overthinking things. And because you help the people around you, that naturally, a rising tide lifts all boats. The people, if you help the people around you, they will pour back into you and push you up as a result. So it's like this, pursuing equilibrium and health through others, pursuing your own health, your own well-being through focus on other people's well-being. And it's true, it does work. I mean, and the reason why it's that way in AA and NA, because typically drug addicts, they have problems that they're wrestling with. They're having problems with their own self-image, self-esteem. They're having some pathological issues. And if you can get those people to stop focusing on their own selfish needs, they can move on and assimilate into a real life, a fulfilling life. I've seen it work. It works. And modernity, modern Western culture, it does the exact opposite of AA and NA. It encourages you to obsess over yourself. It encourages you to never consider anybody else. And I people used to say, I can't be by myself because I think too much or I have bad thoughts. Now people are being toxically talked and encouraged to only think of themselves. And it's people, you see it. There's a vast group of Western people that are struggling with reality. Every day they wrestle with it, and they're covered in tattoos and piercings. Instead of facing their problems and fixing them, they go and get a piercing or a tattoo. To feel better, just to go, or they buy some clothes, buy some useless trinkets. There's genocide happening in Gaza. Our government is arresting pensioners for holding cardboard signs that say, "I support Palestine action." And Andy Burnham, Labor's parent last hope, won't even acknowledge what's really happening. And you know, he loves that people are sacrificing themselves for Palestine, because you know what? When they're focused on Palestine, they're not focused on how hard their life is. They're not focused on how shitty they're treated by their government. So he loves, and that's why they find the Palestine protesting is acceptable. They're okay with it, because people are focusing on problems that don't affect them, and that our politicians can't fix, even if it did affect them. Oh wow, FIFA just started then, huh? No shit. Huh. Wow. Holy shit. It's shedding. That's damn. Yeah, I mean, all reptiles shed. Look at them. I wonder if it must be dead. Yeah. Trump's UFC arena is defiling the White House. It fucking is. Absolutely. It really is. Yeah. Well, I agree with those people and wokeness. Maybe you should fucking stop being so partisan, bro. They're literally defiling, it should be sacrosanct. And he knocked down that building to build some kind of a bunker or some shit. It ain't a ballroom, that's for sure. Wow. Damn. Mass arrest bus. It's officially being loaded here. Huh. Oh, it's in Jersey. Wow, a Berlin flag. Wow. He's not allowed to carry his flag. Bro, every day the authoritarian dystopia that we live in is exposed a little bit more. Every single day. You know, those flags are, and eventually, yeah, everything will be outlawed. You know, they will outlaw being proud of your country or having a country to be proud of. They will outlaw carrying flags. I mean, it's just we're like descending into the depths of a dystopian hell. You feel so called out. Why? Because I'm talking about Western women. You know what they say, right? A hit dog will holler. A hit dog will holler. I'm just busting your chops, Roxy. You know, I really though, if that does kind of ring true or hit home, I mean, maybe you should think about that, because I'm not saying anything but the truth really about what's going on in the West, and I'm not happy about it. I mean, like I said, it tears me apart to see innocent, vibrant, flourishing young souls that are done a grave disservice and, abandoned to the abyss. These people, they are abandoned to the abyss. They're given no guidance. There's no instruction book for life, and we have relied on our elders. Respect your elders. We've relied on them to steer us and guide us, uh, properly, and give us a North Star to guide by or to steer by. And they were stopped. It was suppressed. Their guidance, their advice has been more or less suppressed by the powers that be. And people are struggling. These young women, they're struggling. They've been atomized and sequestered, they've been sectioned off, quarantined in their own little world, convinced that they're the most important thing in the world. Focus on yourself, focus on it, only yourself. And they can't find, there's no light at the end of the tunnel, and they can't find fulfillment through that. So of course they're going to be miserable. And there's a reason for it. Somebody brought this about. It's not a coincidence at all. Like, I used to think that it was women that did this. It was their fault, and that this, that they were the harbingers. They were the ones, bringing all this. No, they're just the canary in the coal mine, really. Especially women. They're very sensitive to change in that way. And the fact that we see it causing spiral, these terrible spirals into abyss, should give us serious pause, because women are they are like the canary in the coal mine. They're more sensitive to this toxic social change. They're much more sensitive to it, and the fact it's ravaging them. It's ravaging them. Women aren't doing what women do. They're not having kids. I mean, it's undeniable. It is undeniable. You look at the past, any era of the past, and contrast it to the present, and a blind man could see it. There's no other way to put it. There's, something terrible is afoot. Something terrible is afoot. And a lot of people, they need guidance. They don't know how to get out of this. They don't know what to do. And everywhere they look on social media, it's another toxic, hey, this way. And it's just some other toxic path. Oh, I see. I wasn't trying to call you out, Roxy, but I mean, like, and if you wouldn't have thought that if you had seen the picture that I was referring to. I'm not joking when I say head to toe. The outline of her face, it had tattoos, kind of did nothing on her face, but there was almost like a border to it, but some tattoos stuck out of the border a little further, and her eyes looked black. And I've seen people do that before. Her eyes looked black, but she was blonde and just so vibrant and pretty. It's like she looked like she was 16 or 18. And then, it shows the picture in the middle where she's halfway, and then the picture all the way to the right. Man, you could tell that she was in a bad place mentally, because, and I get, tattoos are fun. I get it. There's something to that, but covering your body, that's not normal. It is extremely normal for people to get one or get some tattoos. Absolutely. That's not crazy. But to cover your entire body, that suggests some sort of a problem, because that's serious excess. And people do stupid shit too. And I'm not saying tattoos are stupid shit, but like, these are the women that are doing stuff like this. And I see them. When I was younger, women did different stuff. There was once upon a time, they cut themselves. And I see every now and again, I'll see women maybe in their late 20s or my age that have scars on them, and scars on their wrists, scars on their legs. Sometimes they tried to hide them, but it's like you can see that period of their life, that struggle in their life, but they got over it. And it's an absolute shame that they have, that happens to them. And I don't hold it against them. I understand, life is hard. I went through trials and tribulations and difficult teen years. But the tattoos are indicative of the same thing. Wanting to mark your body up like that. You know, it's not for me, and I'm not saying, you know, it's pathological or anything, but you know, it tends to, I don't know, it's, to me it kind of portrays a lot of self focus, a lot of almost self flagellation. But there's also peer pressure. There's a lot going on there. It's socially kind of pushed, as it were. Um, but and women, they tend to grow out of it. They have kids, and then they think, geez, you know, why did I wish, I've seen a bunch of videos of women saying, I wish that I hadn't, you know, tattooed my entire chest. Now I can't, because, and women, they like to dress up. And I heard some of these women, they were saying, you know, that was my aesthetic, but now sometimes I want to dress up like a sweet, wholesome country girl, or they want to wear like a sundress and put on pigtails and look really natural and innocent, but they can't because their chest is covered in tattoos. They've locked themselves into an aesthetic, which is, you know, it's kind of a weird modern materialist way to look at things and look at yourself, you know, as an aesthetic. But at the same time, it just kind of, you know, it's an example to my mind, you know, and I think of things this way. To me, that's a good example of modernity, you know, and honestly, Roxy, we're not really in control of a lot of the things that manipulate and persuade us. Like you didn't have control over the people that were allowed to influence you growing up, you know, and you were, and that influence is a big deal. It really is. Peer pressure, it's so serious, you know. We don't talk about it very much anymore, but when I was a kid and they were pushing the quit smoking drive, there was peer pressure. God, everybody, that was on the tip of everybody's tongue. That word, peer pressure. Uh, but it's a big deal, you know, and all it really says about people is that they cared what other people thought about them. You know, it's human, and I'm not here to bust anybody's balls. But for the grace of God, there go I. That's the way I look at things. You know, and it's really just human. It's human to fail. It's human to make mistakes. It's human to err. You know, and it's human to feel embarrassed. Absolutely. And that the last thing I want is to come off like I'm shaming people. No, I'm trying to say that no, you're norm. Like that makes you normal. The fact that you've made mistakes, you know, and like, and that the one of the things about the cutting and the tattoos is that, you know, you have to live with them, and that's kind of the thing with that stuff is, you know, you have to understand you got to live with that for the rest of your life. And like I said, it's common enough now, and we're all human. Everybody errs. I don't hold it against people at all. And honestly, it builds humility, you know. I think the worst thing in the world is for people is becoming arrogant, you know, being arrogant and judgmental. And you know, I thank God every day for the adversity that I went through as a kid and as an adult, because you know, when I see other, like the popular kids in high school, or the good looking people, that how arrogant they become because they've never been made fun of. They've never looked like, they've never been embarrassed or been humiliated, and they jump to judge other people. And like I think to myself, like, you know, that would have been me if I had never experienced what I've experienced, if I had never made mistakes, if I had never uh you know, been foolish. And I honestly, I'm glad I'm not a narcissistic fucking scumbag. Those people are scumbags. Like, and I'm just super glad that I didn't end up. I've been humiliated enough in my life to not get that way. And I definitely I identify with a lot of those the sayings like God puts you through trial, God makes you go through adversity to build character, to make you the person you are today. And I mean, it definitely feels that way, that those things made me the person I am today. And I'm glad that I'm not, because I see that the popular kids, what pieces of shit those people, like that, the stereotype anyway. I mean, just awful people, awful people. And it's so inhuman to judge people. It's like people that never make mistakes. It's not the place that I want to live in. And what's fucked up is the Democrats. That used to be their spiel, a liberal spiel, but they took that. They got so radical. They took that human attitude of tolerance and understanding, and they turned it into intolerance and authoritarianism. And that happens with everything. When anything is taken to an extreme, it gets intolerant and radical, authoritarian, and intolerant. Even, tolerance itself becomes an intolerant idea. We've all seen it with our own eyes. And I kind of mind, like I wish I could stream FIFA. I would imagine I can't though. I doubt it. They don't big stuff like that. They don't let they've got it monetized. It's on CBN or whatever, or NBC or whatever. Let's see.
You, as you're expert at all this, we know that. But years ago, and you'll throw out a huge statement that comes true. I know you're not making predictions, but in the general lines of converging with this ongoing 100+ year war bubbling into a hot war, bubbling into a convergence point where, 50 years goes by and it's slow, and then in a year more happens than, in 1 year that happened in 50 years.
Bro, I forget, somebody just said that in the chat, but absolutely. Some days, like I've heard it said where it's like, sometimes you'll have decades go by where nothing happens. And then sometimes you'll have days go by where decades happen. It's crazy.
As we know, as Stalin said, there are decades when nothing happens and weeks when decades happen. You can see it. You can feel it, the fourth turning. Who?
And I think that what that is, that the phenomena that's being referred to right there, I think that's system collapse. Systems are built up. And then they slowly, something goes up on an incline and then it slowly declines. I think it's peaks and troughs. That's really that's life. Life is a series of peaks and troughs. And and everything between the troughs is the like decades happening or nothing happening for decades. And then once you hit the nadir, it turns a bunch of shit happens, and then everything reorganizes itself into a new system, goes up on the incline, and then falls back off. But I think that's what that phenomena is, the phenomena of time being like that. It's just vast, complex systems rebuilding, collapsing, rebuilding, collapsing. Take the collapse happens slowly over great periods of time, and then a lot of shit happens all at once. Once it truly collapses. I mean, that's what we're witnessing when we see stuff like that. What's up, Rob? I mean, I think that's the phenomenon. At least that's how it comes off to me. Like the Russian Revolution. They had a system of the czar, nobility, aristocracy for hundreds of years. And then that system, it collapses or it's torn down almost overnight. And then there's squabbling and feuding over who controls what in the next system. And then the next system is erected once the politics gets sorted out, once they duke it out and everybody's aligned in the same direction, then they build the system, and when they duke it out, most of the time that means assassinations and like the Night of the Long Knives or all the purges in the Russian Revolution. Because the polity, the people, the nation that is squabbling, they have to unify. They have to become aligned and all point in the same direction. And so, sometimes that happens peacefully. Usually it happens with murder and violence, pogroms, rioting. I mean, that's what we're witnessing in the UK. And I think it's going to get violent in the UK. And I mean, it looks to me like the right in the UK is going to win out. And I'm not sure if they have the stomach for that, but the left certainly would kill them off. If everything broke down and the UK collapsed, if the left could, they would murder the right. Absolutely. 100%. Look at this. The hell? Here he goes! Oh my gosh. That's fucking crazy. What was that? That literally like gives me anxiety just seeing that. Like it makes my stomach jump up into my throat. And I'm not afraid of heights, but I am afraid. When I look at that, it scares me. It doesn't scare me to be 90 foot up in a pine tree with just a little 10 millimeter rope holding me up. But that right there would scare the shit out of me because you don't have a rope. Like, honestly, I feel as safe up in a tree as long as I have my gear, I feel as safe as on the ground. But without gear, being up high like that scares the shit out of me. It's like armor that shields me from that. I don't know. Whoa, fucking bullshit, motherfucker. AI, fuck you. Got me big time.
What are the main power players when we know?
Man, I've noticed my...
Oh, Euclid? Oh my good. I mean, this guy, he was
my streams, they haven't been shutting off or collapse or lagging so that I lose the connection. Like a lot, I've started to get things down, I'm starting to get more professional day by day. I love it.
Right. And if you work all back through the propositions, you'll see that he has given proof for each of his statements, right? And so what I'm getting to is that's not taught anymore. I call it thinking hygiene. A lot of people just they're not taught thinking hygiene. They're taught that.
And they don't have basic building blocks to build off of. Like they think history's boring, or they think geopolitics is boring. They don't understand as you study.
Man, and I've been saying this lately that they do think that, and it's not a coincidence. We have been brainwashed. We have been convinced that this stuff is dumb. We shouldn't pay attention to it, and that we're just average idiots. We can't affect change. We can't invent shit. It's diabolical. But I guarantee you this much: Jews, they don't tell their kids that they're average nothings. We got people like Sam Altman and stuff. They're all nourished and pushed up and pushed to explore and invent. They have totally changed the cultures. They have made our culture from this dynamic uh, prodigious creative culture into a dead culture, and like Latin almost. And they have nourished and built up the Jewish culture so that only they're the only ones that have ambitions, it seems like. Seriously, that's how it seems. Trying to find something, maybe new, something going on. There's no, doesn't seem to be. They must be suppressing live streams that are coming out of the UK. The Knicks are winning. Huh. That's what it looks like.
I'm in this book telling Japanese to read it. But Mr. Griffin, I showed him this when we were on the phone when he called, and he said, I didn't know it was still in Japanese. He didn't realize it's still being printed over here. He didn't know that until 20.
But look how fastidious your wife is. The Japanese in general are such beautiful people. Show that book, the beautiful little markers in it, where she has just expertly gone through it all.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. She studies, man. My wife is brilliant. Man, we had a she's pregnant 24 weeks, right? And we had a she's always
man. What are you doing, old man? You getting it going on there? Huh.
Oh man, she's
Ein brutaler Mordversuch auf offener Straße in Belfast. Jemand filmt, das Video geht viral. Ein rassistischer Mord macht daraufhin Jagd auf Migranten. Dazu aufgerufen hatten ein britischer Rechtsextremist.
You know, the more that I hear European languages, the more they all sound the same to me. Like, I've started to realize German and French, they're all based on the same thing. They're just super thick accents. Straight up. Like, and when I listen to German or French, you know, I can kind of understand it. And I remember when I was younger, I used to watch TCM all the time, and they would play those foreign French movies. And I remember one time I was like half asleep, and I could understand everything that they were saying. Everything. I understood. It blew my mind. And when I like woke up out of it and like was fully awake, you know, I left the TV on, you know, and then I watched the movie again. I couldn't understand it. You know, it was the weirdest thing. But
24
like German,
weeks pregnant, and yesterday we had the midwife here, right? So I had.
It's all the same. They just have such a thick accent where they lean on certain sounds more or different sounds than we lean on. But it's all the same thing. They're all the same words, the same base words. They're just like the difference between British, American, Australian, South African English. That's basically all European languages. But in the central language is more or less Latin. It's a Latin Germanic language. And the Europeans were just allowed enough time separate from each other that those languages, or that their own specific special languages evolved, their own dialects into legit languages. It's the same thing going on with English. And if we didn't have the internet, our accents would get further and further apart until we couldn't understand each other. I know there's Irishmen that you can't understand. Their accent is so thick. It's ridiculous. Oh, I think that's the guy that got stabbed.
And I'm here for my children, and I'm here for my grandchildren, and I'm here to keep Ireland for the Irish, and our Celtic race, and our culture, and our traditions, and our Christian Catholic religion.
Yes.
And I do not want Ireland to become an Islam stronghold.
Here, here. Well
Fuck
said.
yeah.
Great
Here,
story.
here.
Fair play.
Here, here.
And
Fuck
I'm here
yes.
for my children, and I'm here for my grandchildren,
Fucking
and I'm
A,
here.
man. Bro, what a patriot, man. What an Irish patriot. God, we need more women like that. More people like that. Ole, 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 ole. Ole, ole. Trending news, sports. Here we go. Yeah, the Knicks. Yeah, the Knicks won. Brazil tied. Scotland's up. Fuck yeah. I wish I could show it. That would be dope. Knife attack in Belfast. Sheffield protest videos prompt police brutality. Yeah, no shit. We've all seen it. It's disgusting the way that what the police are doing.
Ooh. Ja, who's the senior säga? Who's the senior This is a piss.
People don't like it. People do not like it. And I've seen multiple.
Ja, who's the senior säga? Who's the senior This is a piss.
Ooh. It's fucked up. Some Muslim police officer. What the fuck, man? This is bullshit. Oh, wow. Oh. Still. Wow. What the hell? Bro.
You daft woman.
You daft woman.
This just knocks him out.
Wow. What the fuck?
You daft woman. This just knocks him out.
Yeah, I've seen a few of these videos that just show these cops are out of control. And it's no wonder they're being given an impossible job, and the worst, they're given no tools, and they're told to do an impossible job. Really, eventually, the cops are going to bow out. They're going to say, "Yeah, this is no good. You know, we're being asked to beat and attack our own people." And I'm sure some of them will go along with it. Some of them won't.
So the riot police are now coming in to move on the Antifa, the lefties. So the riot police are now making their way into the crowd to disperse the lefties.
Yeah, Portuguese is it's pretty much Spanish, isn't it? We're all Latin now. And even German has Latin in it. And really, you know, the languages, they just sound very similar. Like there's a lot of similarities. Like kommen in German is the same. I think it's come or go. You know, it's like going or coming or going, one or the other. But a lot of words are the same. You can kind of, if you just relax your mind and instead of listening so carefully, kind of just relax. It's like, you know, when the way you relax with your body, where you just let your muscles go limp. If you kind of just you just listen passively, you can understand what they're saying. And it's really neat, you know. At least I can. If I just relax and don't try to focus on one word and just let it kind of wash over me, I can understand it. Oh, it's almost here, he's saying.
A friend of mine has travelled down and marched with us today. He's been a lifelong patriot, and his name is Paul Golding. Everyone.
Glasgow. And like I said it before, they had that blue-haired old woman with a police uniform on doing riot control. What the hell? It's insane. Bro, we are so in for it, man. This is definitely going to come to a head. This is definitely going to come to a head. You got these, what do these people think they're doing? They're out there saying, come get us. Come get us or we're going to get you. It's crazy. I mean, the way I see it now, like Europe, it's fixing to go up and it's going to be it's going to be bad. If they want to, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a racial struggle. If people want to survive, they're going to have to fight it, defend themselves. And I think they've been pushed to the limit, and we're starting to see Europeans wake up and accept that they're going to have to get their hands dirty. They don't get to be these posh liberals anymore with these luxury beliefs and this is how racial struggles come about. Anybody that thought the cultures could live alongside each other was a fool. They were a fool. To think that ideologically opposed cultures, you're going to integrate them so they live alongside each other? Nah. It was one thing when you had the West and any Easterners or any people from other cultures that wanted to live like Westerners and wanted to be Westerners, they assimilated fine. But as soon as you put people that have no inclination and they haven't any they made no bones about it. They would never said they would assimilate. They never made that they never stated that. They never even there wasn't even the illusion of it. And to think those people that they're going to live alongside, no, they're going to brutalize, victimize in an attempt to subjugate Europeans. And now we're in that world. We're in that reality because they have flooded Europe with these people, and the people that they flooded Europe with had no, I'm trying to think of the word. I don't know what the fucking word is. It's on the tip of my tongue, but they weren't going to do that. And they never said they were going to do that. From the jump, this has been about domination. Since day one, since they started coming to Europe, it's been about domination. And the Europeans were only fooling themselves. They were only fooling themselves and lying to themselves, that thinking that these people were just going to assimilate. And remember people pointing out fighting age military age males? Well, and everybody knew what was going to happen. We all knew it deep down. I mean, am I wrong here? Am I wrong when I say that we all knew that this day was going to come? That these fighting age males were going to assert their position in their newfound homes. And the Europeans weren't going to lay down for that. I mean, they swallowed the propaganda for a little while. And now, now it's too late they can't stop it. They're already there. The knife crime, the crime and the murders and the public executions are skyrocketing. And white people they don't want it anymore. They're not going to tolerate it anymore. I mean, It's been almost a week now. I think it's safe to come to that conclusion today. Yeah. Europe and Europeans, they've had enough. They don't give a fuck what their politicians say. They can't imprison everybody. Yeah, you know, and if they tried, it would just destroy economies. You know, if they would have to imprison whole countries, you know, and it's not possible. It was a good effort by the globalists, but close but no cigar.
Look at you, detective, fucking nonsense. You're a victim.
You're fucking nonsense. You're nonsense. Liverpool. Wow. I think the UK police, they're playing right into their hands. They're playing right. It's like the authorities are fomenting this practically. They're trying to suppress these protests, but they're not doing enough to suppress them. They're doing enough just to provoke the population. It's like they come out to rile people up, to get people riled up, and then they come out and try to disperse it just enough so that more people get riled up and show up the next day. You know, they're lit, and that's what this little token police resistance is. It's just an invitation to the rude boys and the, you know, to the tough guys to come out and raise hell. Maybe it may very well be them setting a trap. You know, it wouldn't surprise me, but if you know, if this is all they can muster, I mean, it might be that this is all they can muster, or it might be that they're just provoking the white country, the white people. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Wow. Bald eagle. Wow, that's so cool. That's so cool that they used a falconer to come out. That is so cool. Damn, I want to watch that again. That was badass, dude. You know, eagles, you can falcon eagles to, or, you know, you can train eagles just like falcons, just like hawks. They're just way bigger. Wow. Majestic. Beautiful. Man, how are they getting this spin? Is it a drone? That's so cool. That thing is huge. Massive bird. You know, well, its wingspan must be 8 feet. It's massive. Very majestic, though, too. Very. Bro, those wings are so big, and it just kind of folds them up so nice, so compact, and tucks them away. It's so cool. Where are you at, Robin? Yeah, you're right, though. You're right. There has been 80 years of peace. There has been 80 years of peace, but it's still in there. It's still deep down in there. There are still strapping military-aged European men, just like there always have been. And they've been raised the same. Yeah, the Knicks did win. Yeah, you spelled Knicks wrong, though. Busting your chops.
Neck by another monster in Burnley in the UK, not Ireland, in the UK. What's the UK going to do about this now? Now, I'm not saying fuck all here, but I am going to say this. What we're going to do to set the fucking Irish track on, and we do fuck all about things like this. It's disgusting. It needs to stop. Look at this.
Yeah, that shit's crazy. Yeah, what are they going to do about it? Guy just runs up like he's delivering the mail.
You asked me for location. I give you location. We're here on the bridge. We thought you were coming here, yeah? No, Danny. When I catch you, I'm going to cut your toe in half, yeah?
I'm going to cut your toe in half, man. Man, I would not fuck with these people, these white people. They are pissed. They are fucking hopping mad. Stay the fuck out of Europe. I love it. This is so funny. Look at the... they're cartoonish the way they look, honestly. Big Sambos and shit.
My father said...
Oh, shit. What the fuck? Oh shit. Damn, that dude must have done something to that woman. Oh yeah, and the guy runs up and I don't know what the fuck that was about. I couldn't tell who was doing what there. Bunch of people fighting for who knows what. Bro, what's up with these people? Bitch. Bitch, get the fuck out of our fucking... Get out! You stupid...
Just 1 minute.
Fuck you.
Sorry, guys.
No. Thank you.
No other.
How dare you?
I'm going now. You have a beautiful voice. Thank you. No worries. I'm going now. Okay, I'll sing at the same time. Yes.
She wants to sing her way out. Bitch, get out. Just shut your mouth and get out. You know, we have Gregorian chants and shit. We have music for this. If we wanted music, we would play music. Get your nigger ass out. Go. Bro, these people, they don't respect anything, man. They don't respect anything. I mean, they're worse in America. You know, after the Carmelo Anthony thing, all the shit they talked on YouTube and stuff. It's disgusting. Pissed off because somebody received, or justice was served for once.
All of you are tripping balls about. I'm from the South. This flag does not represent fucking slavery.
This girl's like a mixed breed or something like that, for sure. She's definitely got an Arab look to her.
It represents the states' rights. It represents the fact that the South is what fought against federalizing the entire nation. This is about protecting the states' rights and the Constitution as it is written. It wasn't until later that black culture decided this was a representation of Jim Crow era laws. But no.
Right. It's bullshit. You know, Jim Crow was something that was invented in the 20th century. You know, that flag, it was from the Civil War. Honestly, black people, they delude themselves. They seem to think that the Civil War was about them. You know, and hundreds of thousands of men died, all because of, you know, this little teeny population of Negroes. No, it had very little to do with black people, very little to do with Negroes. there was a disagreement amongst white people about how the country was going to be run. They're so arrogant.
It sounds like it's ripping the side open.
That's sketch.
There's a whole wall.
I don't like ships. I'm not into cruises and stuff. It's like a floating prison. That's all cruises are, floating prisons.
We're racist. Hey, who's the biggest racist of the lot?
I love this shit. Buster Keaton, he broke his tailbone, I think, in this scene. And restart this shit. This one right here, he broke his tailbone trying to do this scene, and he actually fell when he falls. That's what hurt him. He actually fell. When he slipped at the top, he got injured, and it took him months. He was injured for a while. I think he was bedridden for like a week or something. So it took him a while to finish this movie. You know, he had to put it on pause. He was clever. This is from, I think it's from General Lee, or it's a Civil War movie. He made one. Oh shit. How smart. Some serious chops when it came to special effects. I forgot, you guys. I'm in the way. Shit. Know Keystone Cops. This is where Keystone Cops, it was a movie. They were silent films. You ever seen that movie Chaplin with Robert Downey Jr.? Charlie Chaplin first worked for the company that did the Keystone Cops, and it was a slapstick cop movie. It was they were funny. And like, I think soon we're going to be seeing a lot of stuff like this because it's fair use now. It doesn't have copy because it's over 100. It's 100 years old. Once something hits 100 years, you don't need rights to use it anymore. It's like almost like a patent. And the silent era is almost completely fair use now, all the way up until 1926. And the silent era ended in the 30s, you know, so here in 5 more years, you'd be able to play all these movies, you know, I've played Metropolis before. It's the silent movie by Fritz Lang. But this stuff is entertaining. You know, it's this old school physical humor. It's funny. The shit is funny, and these people were clever.
Do you want to colorize your own images? Check out the link in the description.
You know, honestly, people had a very different sense of humor now. And you got to think about the life of people back then. Yeah, it's 100 years. 100 years, yes. But people back then, they didn't have phones. Like, think about like, you ever thought about what it's like to live on a farm? Yes, the general. Yeah, you're right. Yep. Oh, Internet Archive. No crap. But you know, people back then, they lived on farms. They might have a visitor to their house. Their neighbor might be an hour away. You know, most people back then. So these movies had to make those people laugh. You know, and that's why the humor was so much, it wasn't dry. It was slapstick. That's why slapstick was a thing, and it seems so childish now. But people were very different back then. Very different. And they didn't have all this information at their fingertips like we do. And what they did have, they had to get from books or from stories or the radio if there was a radio at all. Well, they used processed food too, but they processed it with salt and other things. They didn't do it with, we do it with salts today, like potassium. We do it with all kinds of stuff. And what seems like a lot of it is just variations on salt, like MSG, they're high sodium. But we produce, or we process and preserve our food the same way that people did back then. We just give it high-tech chemical names, you know, like salt fish. Yeah, that was a huge salt pork, salt fish, salt beef, pickling. You know, they all involve salt, more or less. And yeah, salt fish. A lot of people don't realize salt cod and stuff. They covered it in salt, and it would cure, almost like dry, suck the moisture out. And then they, like, instead of having freezers, ice holds like they do on commercial fishing vessels, they still had holds, you know, kennels, but they would just salt the fish. Instead of toting ice, they toted salt. They salted the fish and packed it in the kennels. And when you got salt fish, you had to put it into water. You had to put it into water so it could rehydrate. And when you put it in the water, you you agitated it so that most of this, and it would be salty, but it wouldn't be like as salty. You know, it would be just slightly salty. You used water to water it down enough and get the salt off of it, and that's what you did. Instead of thawing it out, it was like you thawed it out with water instead. You know, thawed the ice out, thawed the salt out. You know, I must say too, this colorizing, it looks very realistic. It doesn't look like when people would color the film with like a marker. It actually looks quite realistic, and it makes it seem closer somehow. It makes it seem like, man, this wasn't that far ago. This wasn't that long ago. You know what I mean? Like, it really wasn't that long ago. And I feel like it's almost like the crackling when you play a record. It's the same thing with a movie, how it's got the lines and all this, like the specks and hairs that make it, because you're using celluloid film and shining light through it. But like AI, it can remove that stuff, you know, and we don't store it on film anymore. But it just kind of shows how much stuff like that colors our perspective. We look back 100 years ago, and it seems ancient until you run the film, run the actual footage through AI and have it clean the film up, and all of a sudden it really doesn't seem. You realize, wait a second, it really wasn't that long ago at all, and things aren't really that different. The way the physical reality, it's not all that different. He was really clever. Man. His little legs. He was so good at this. Oh, wow. So cool. Man, he just knew what kind of perspectives looked neat. Like what just looks cool. Ooh, damn. Wow. Oh, man. That is so cool. This dude, he had chops. He was a look, this is the highest replayed part. People are like, what the hell? How did he do that? He was known for his special effects. Buster Keaton. What the hell? How did he do that? How did he do that? Steamboat Willie. That's what this one is, Steamboat Willie. I used to watch these on TCM. That was that's like his most famous scene, his most famous picture. I'm sure you guys have seen it. It's an old steam engine. You know how they use those piston rods to turn the wheels? And those piston, they go and they turn the wheels. And the huge steam engines, those are big ass rods. He sat on one. So as the train took off, those rods go like this, and he's sitting on it, and it's just, and he's like, and then he looks at you like, what the fuck? You see this? He has this look on his face. They called it a deadpan. He had the deadpan look, where it's, he looks and he goes, do you see this? Like, and he looks back at you. And I'm not crazy, right? Like, that's the look he gives. Yeah, he's bathroom. you know, this was a big deal. This scene here, this was a huge deal. It took him a while to do this. And I think it was a big splash when it came out. Like, people were like, how the hell did he do that? Good question. Wars were fought for over spices, surely. Yeah. And they were fought over spice trade at first, and then they finally went to the source and fought over that. Really short. You can really see the difference in nutrition between now and then. Although we're probably not the healthiest, but thinking about like maybe the 60s versus then, everybody had short legs. Seriously. I notice a lot of people have much longer torsos in proportion to their legs, and I believe that has everything to do with nutrition. I mean, you can see it, especially in old movies. You see old actors in like a 1930s or 40s movie, you know, they were born in the 1800s. And you can see that their diet was very, you know, had a very narrow, you know, there wasn't a lot of variability in what there was, you know, didn't have the most variety when it came to nutrients. And I think that would stunt your leg growth. That was pretty cool. How slick. I knew that was going to happen. Funny. Oh, wow. No shit, that's funny. Isn't that crazy? That's how showers were back then. Showers were legit a ring around a spigot or a shower head with a that you hung a bath curtain around, and then you would stand over a drain basically. And you see them in some old bathrooms where the floor all has a, you know, it all runs into a drain. It's all tilted towards the drain. Yeah, like, you know, showers are a relatively new invention. You know, that's something that we've started doing in the last century and a half. And like sometimes like bathtubs, they used to be like that too, kind of small. Basically just enough to put a shower curtain, keep a shower curtain inside so that, you know, you could take a shower and the water wouldn't get the room wet. You know, and when you think about it, I've never been to New York, but you know how all the buildings have fire escapes. You know, that's like a pretty it's wild, honestly. First, I mean, when they started building skyscrapers, people realized, "Oh shit, if there's a fire and you're up high, you're trapped, you die." You know, if the building burns, you're screwed. You can't get down without going through the fire. And so they had to come up with some way for people to get, especially in like apartment buildings and stuff. And they came up with fire escapes. And those fire escapes, they have had those on the buildings in like New York for like over a century since they've had those tall buildings. I don't know. So there's something about fire, and also the fact that you know, like back then things were so dangerous. You know, there were no regulations and stuff. But you know, fire escapes, that was like you know, it was a safety thing, and I don't know. It's kind of like they didn't even have seat belts for like the first half century with they had cars. And I suppose the fire escapes, it's obvious. I mean, nobody would want to go into a building that, you know, once they get past, like, you know, they get up into the building more than a few floors. Like, God forbid anything below them happens because they're dead. They can't, like, they're screwed. But so it makes sense that they would do that. But, and they've had elevators around as long as as long as they've been needed, as long as they were necessary, they've been around. You know, a lot of these buildings with fire escapes, and like you never did have to actually ascend the stairs to get to the top. They just didn't build buildings that high until they had elevators. When you think about it, like the Empire State Building, you know that they built that kind of the old-fashioned way, just like a grid of steel girders. But that was a long ass time ago. You know what I'm like a long, that was like a century ago that they built that thing. A century ago. You know, they built this multi-story building, you know, with really no safety equipment. The riveters, those guys were insane. You know, one guy would work a furnace and they would throw those damn rivets, use like a little cone to catch them and stuff. It was wild. And they had no ropes. People died. They fell and died. It was a part of the job. They got paid so much money though, but you know, and the fact that those buildings are still standing, it's quite impressive. You know, is before before the atomic bomb, before a lot. You know, I don't even think we had machine guns yet. You know, or like machine guns was like, that was a brand new thing. That was a concept that people had thought about that, you know, wasn't possible until right around the same time as the Empire State Building was built. I mean, you got it when you think about it with perspective, it's so impressive. There were three rivals basically in silent movies for comedy. There was Buster Keaton with his deadpan physical style comedy, and then there's Buster Keaton, and there's Charlie Chaplin, and then there's Harold Lloyd, who I've never watched Harold Lloyd, but apparently he was as good as Chaplin and Keaton. That's Chaplin. Turnbuckles. Oh, this one's Buster Keaton. They're both in the ring. It's funny. Much more simple. They would do that. This is funny. Pretty small. Charlie Chaplin, he was so little. They all were. Oh shit. We got some action, boys.
Incredible out here. You better drive safe, all right? Oh, I am. You're a real one. I love you. Thank you very much.
What a goofball. Nick Shirley. Oh wow, this is New York. This is the Knicks.
We're trying to be.
Good for the Knicks, though.
24. 24. You get that shit 24. Yes, sir. Oh my God. No. You have to find out later. Sir, I've saved you lots of money. Just know that.
I had it playing and I had another.
All right, let's go up here. Have a good one. Hello.
Yeah, this is on his.
What's up? How are you doing? What's going on?
You lit.
What?
You lit.
You lit?
No, you lit.
I'm lit?
Yeah,
You lit.
Good for Nick Shirley.
We outside.
Much love,
Plug your
man.
stream. Just
Jeez,
let
the
people know
whole
where to find
city
you.
is out.
Mr. Goopy.
Crazy.
Mr. Goopy.
Mr. Goopy. Yeah.
Right here?
Damn. Good
How are you
looking,
guys feeling?
Pretty girls for sure.
Good. Amazing. Best night of your
Not
life.
her.
You know what?
Busted.
We are not American. We are Italian. We are
Oh wow.
here, and then it's amazing that we
That
are
one behind
here,
her is good
and then
looking. Damn.
That's what we're talking about. All the way from
Hell
Italy.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Italy.
Yeah, also Naples.
Naples.
Rome, the best
Homegirl
city
has
in the
blue
world.
eyes too. She's sexy as all
That's
get
all I know.
out, man.
Thank you.
For sure, bro.
I just want to have a constructive conversation. I just want to say,
What's
I'm
up?
East African.
Yes, sir.
I want to say that I understand you was doing investigative journalism.
Yes, sir.
The Somali man, that was
Shut
kinda
up, you
like,
Somali.
man, you know what I'm saying?
Well, the Somalis messed up because they committed lots of fraud. It just so happened to be that 87% of the fraud was
Somali
taken.
community's mad. It's a good community though. You might have got
Take me to the great parts. I would love to go. Let's go to Mogadishu.
Yeah,
Take me to Mogadishu.
If you go looking for an issue, you might find it. But there's great people. Somali communities are great.
Bro, what
community,
does
you know
that
I'm
have
saying?
to do with
All I'm saying
fraud,
though is
man?
I believe it. You guys gotta go tell Ilhan Omar to stop using
no, but listen, hold
Somali
on.
community
All
to
I
commit fraud.
was trying to say is this.
What's
You
up?
got a big platform.
Thank you.
And just the way you use it, I feel it. You investigate it, I get it. All I'm saying is try to just do more togetherness shit. You know what I'm saying? Divisive shit. If you're looking for the problem.
Bro, fuck this guy. Why is it that pointing out the problem, man, stop pointing out the problem. It's inconvenient. Stop pointing out that we're thieves and fraudsters. Stop, man. Because, you know, do more together stuff.
Do this already. So
It is petty. It is petty.
That's divisive, man. No, it's fucking the truth.
But the fraud was real. That's the thing. But that's the sad thing. But listen.
The problem is, like, anybody saying the problem, oh, that's divisive. It's only divisive because you invited a bunch of thieves and frauds and murderers, fraudsters and murderers here. It's not our fault that you did that. We're going to call a spade, homeboy. I mean, it's that simple, bro. You're a dirty ass.
There's fraud. I expose there's fraud in all 50
Fuck
states.
this guy.
There's just a lot of fraud in Minnesota.
Tax mines a lot. It was bad though.
Well, they were committing fraud, sir.
Just
It's
try to do
proven.
more to get in this content as well as you investigate.
They don't, then they should stop stealing. They should stop stealing. They're not the only ones. There are other communities. But just, we're supposed to cut them a break because they're black and Somalians. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. What do I look like to you? Like a duck? Do I look like a duck to you? Fuck you. Bro, I can't stand that shit. How would they like it if we came and fucking stole from their fucking grandparents and shit? And oh, stop, you know, they're weak. They're weak. No, they're not weak. They're fucking driving Ferraris. Fuck you. We are the weak. They are the strong taking advantage. Fuck them. Good for Nick Shirley for not taking that bullshit. That's why I side Nick Shirley because he's not the smartest chap in the world, but
Like some people are saying free Palestine, some people are saying support Israel. I'm just showing people what's going on. And
You're not a hard stance type of guy, right?
not on that issue. I even went to
you're not a hard stance type of guy, right? And so what if I am, bitch? So what if I am?
I guess
What made you confused?
like the whole entire like the history of it, like everything just left me more confused.
You know
Like
that
it's so much information to take in, it left me even more confused. But that's all I'm gonna say. We got
I'm sure
fireworks
I believe
going.
him.
The Knicks are winning. We're gonna keep going with our night. We're not talking about
free
things.
Palestine!
Thanks. All right, let's keep moving on, everyone. See, we're letting everyone just talk out here. Anyone can say anything on the stream. We have
That's
people
so
on
cool.
it. Hell, Hitler, free Palestine, Israel, everything. What's
I
going on?
don't know if
How
I've
you
ever
doing?
seen
That's what's up.
footage
Next
like
one.
this
Are you happy, man?
of the buildings in the
Can I get a
street.
picture?
That's
Yeah,
so dope.
Yo,
Like, man, I wish I should go to
Thank you very much.
New York.
I saw the video of you fighting with that fat Asian
Check
guy.
that shit
That
out.
shit was hilarious, dude.
It looks awesome. Like one big ass downtown block party.
Hey, I'm Mormon too, bro. Hey, that's what's up. How we going?
Damn.
Washington Square.
New York is
It's so
popping
funny.
off
Everyone comes on
tonight.
stream and they're like,
That's
solve this
awesome.
issue, solve
Though.
this
Good
issue.
for
I'm like,
them.
sorry.
Good for them.
How's it going? Thank you, thank you. I'm like, I can't solve all the world's issues.
Didn't
Oh,
did they
in
didn't the Knicks
Maybach.
win in the '90s with Ewing? Or no? They get beaten.
Yeah, no.
It's kept out.
Where's everyone going?
The Knicks
I'm
is a
asking
good
who their
team.
favorite
You
player
know,
is.
it's one
Like,
of
can
those
you name three
teams like
players
the
on the Knicks team?
Lakers. They have
How are you
fans
guys feeling?
all over the world are fans of
Who's
the
your
Knicks.
favorite? Who's your favorite player on the Knicks?
Oh man,
Jalen Brunson, let's be honest.
Your next
all
favorite
these
player?
sexy white girls.
That's all I got for you.
I
Although-
said that before.
Oh, she's
Can you
got
name three
sturdy
Knicks
legs
players?
too.
So here's
That
the
one's
thing.
got
I'm a
sturdy
bandwagon.
legs.
Born and raised.
Born and raised
I'm
bandwagon.
from Florida. I'm a Miami Heat fan. I
Ooh.
retired the Heat.
She's
I'm
a
just
Florida
here working
girl.
stands out, baby.
Amen. Respect. Have a safe night, ladies.
Have a good night.
You too.
Very cool.
We got a person in rollerblades. Bro, it is actually kind of funny. People come on the stream and they're like, solve this problem. Talk about this one. Talk about this one. I'm like, I can only get so
Man,
many
Nick,
seconds.
he's got the. I mean, he's living it up, man. That would be so cool to be Nick Shirley right now, just kind of cruising New York, just breathing, taking it in. You know, oh,
Holy crap!
What
It looks
a-
like a lot of people are going down over there.
what a great memory that would be. You know, like
Really?
being there for
All right,
the
let's go over
party
there.
after the Knicks
Yeah, it
win
looks
the
crazy
finals,
over here.
and being well known and having a
Like the streets,
platform and
like
just being
anybody
able
can just go on the
to
streets.
take it all
Amazing.
in,
Let's run.
take
Let's
in
run
the.
this. I think this
the,
is a great stream right now. We're having a good
success
time. Great energy out here. You're having a good day? Let's
Great
go.
fucking day. Yo, I got one thing to say.
What's up?
My mayor's Muslim. My bagel is Jewish. Wemby, you can run, but you can't hide because Knicks in 5.
Amen. Knicks in 5. It's a good one. You too. Have a good one.
Hell yeah. Go home,
It
Muslims.
is like in wild
I
over
miss
here.
Rudy Giuliani. New York is the scourge of the U.S. Your mayor is a terrorist. Oh, wow. That guy was on one of those motor-powered unicycles, the ones that haul ass. That was dope.
Hey, thank you very much. Pacers and the Knicks dad. There we go.
Raph,
Thank you
shout
very
out
much.
to my boy Nick doing work.
Thank you very much, Sebastian.
Wow,
Go
you
to
see
Poland.
those niggers
I
in the
should go to Poland.
background bobbing.
Let's interview
They're
this
just
trash
out
can
looking
man.
for trouble. You see niggers
You got a
slinking
busy
around
day
like
ahead.
that. They're looking for
You got
trouble.
a busy day ahead. There we go. How are you feeling?
I'm good.
Knicks in 5. Everyone's excited.
I don't watch sports.
You don't watch sports? You got a long night ahead.
This dude's like, I don't fucking care.
Just waiting. All right, you have a great day. Thank you for what you do. We appreciate you.
That's pretty sick. Good news. I mean, I'd rather the Knicks win. The Spurs, they
Yo, I'm looking to
dominate. They
go on
always
vacation.
dominate.
Maybe I will go to Poland.
You know?
You guys don't realize I've been going nonstop for 2.5 years every single week. All right, they're taking over 34th Street.
Oh yeah, man. New York is beautiful.
They already did some nice
You know,
little
even though
burnouts
it's
right
concrete, it's pretty
here.
dope.
Burnt the rubber.
No, there aren't hardly any cabs out. The street has just been taken over.
Zoom in. You can zoom in.
So cool. Man, and in Europe,
There we
they
go.
do this in Europe, but in Paris, they fucking trashed it. I guess we can't really talk. I mean, nobody's rioting. Everybody's out, but they're not angry. Nobody's fighting. Everybody's in good spirits. Even the Jays and the Palestinians. Everybody's out together. That's good. I mean, but you see how the West does it, how white people do it, or how America does it. They're not burning the New York down.
Where is that bike coming from?
East 34th. That's pretty sick. People standing
The
on the
Brazilian
fucking
onto.
lamp post. That's crazy. Man, New York
Just
is
getting a
so
little
big
wild out
there.
here. How you doing? Amazing.
Everything.
Yes.
It is a marvel. I see in all the
What's
base
up? How you
levels
doing?
of the
Doing
buildings.
great.
That's the storefront. You know, like CVS's
so much
and shit. It seems
positivity
weird,
out here
but
today. How you guys feeling?
It's my cousin.
You just ran into your cousin out here?
My cousin out here.
What a beautiful day.
Yeah, my dad always called it nigger hockey. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I've heard that before. Faggot hockey is soccer.
I just met my cousin. Take a break. Like he just ran into his cousin. Miracles are happening.
Anyway, it's getting pretty late, guys. I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream now.
Everyone hates Wemby.
Yeah, it was, it was nice just to kind of take a break from the hardcore ranting and stuff like that, for sure. Yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in and joining the streams. Good to see you. Good to see you as usual. As usual, Auto Hoax, Bobby Digital, Question, everybody else that always slides through. Anyways, yeah, I hope you guys have been enjoying your weekend so far and have a good Sunday. I will see you guys on Monday for sure.